minorities had voted for Biden. We also pointed that out. Democratic politicians will never tell you this, but in reality, that is what happened. A lot of people who voted for Bernie were completely disenchanted, and they were already knew they hated Hillary Clinton, not because she was a woman. Maybe there was some of that, but in reality, the vast majority of them were angry at her for being a corporate stooge, and that's why they didn't want to vote for her. Some of them just stayed out of the race. Some of them voted for Trump. All of that, all of that process was unfolding. But just to clarify on the other point that you raised, that well, are we going to say that just because somebody is not Bernie, then we are just going to reject them, and maybe they're bringing some value? No, I think we have to be clear, or maybe they bring something of value for working people. That's where I think I just want to clarify that when I mention Bernie, I don't mean that Bernie is the standard and then you have to get up to his standard. In some ways, it's it's the other way around, in the sense that I would say that if we want to stay true to working people and not create illusions in people who are going to sell working people out, then you have to have Bernie as the floor. There's a ceiling and a floor. Bernie is not the ceiling, he's the floor. Like if these candidates are not even Bernie Sanders, then I don't believe that they are going to serve any purpose. In fact, it'll actually be problematic, because if we start creating illusions in them, so there's a difference between an ordinary person voting for some candidate who's going to sell them out because they feel like they're out of options. But it's quite another for me to publicly create illusions in those candidates who I know are going to sell out. Do you see what?
Welcome to another episode of the Nick and CJ show. I'm one of your hosts. I'm CJ. What's up, Nick?
What's poppin', my people, my friends, my family? It's great to be back. It's great to be back. Nick and CJ, it's gonna be a great week. Shama's on fire there. There's a lot to.
Oh Lord, that was just 2 minutes, Nick, and it was an hour interview that I watched this morning, like at 7 a.m.
I saw a bit of it before
9.
we got.
Yeah,
it was just premiering live. I saw a bit of it. I didn't finish it. I saw that point, and I saw the point where Bree was like, "Hey, wouldn't it be a good idea for someone to run as a dim?" And Kshama was like, "Nah, bro, what are you talking about? What are you talking about?" Like, Kshama's been very nice. What are you talking about? Bree's like, "Well, wouldn't theoretically be good?" No, it wouldn't. No, it would not. It's a great interview. We're gonna get into that.
A little bit later
today. It's a great discourse, and Bree is going to have those discourse and debates. And Kshama was not having it, son.
It was a point. She was like, "Listen, you want me to talk about Marianne Williamson?" She was like, "Marianne Williamson won't even stand up for war. Point out one time she did that." She was like, "Wait. That's why I wasn't bringing up Marianne. I'm bringing up RFK." I think Bree understands now that there's a hard line, like that Marianne is terrible when it comes to the military-industrial complex. I think there's an acceptance now in Bree when she's arguing these points. And
she didn't believe us at first. She didn't believe us at first, remember? When we were this kind of stuff up. But Kshama brings up an amazing point, a point that we gotta continue to drive home to these people. Because they keep saying, yeah, Marianne Williamson isn't good as Bernie. Yeah, Nina Turner isn't good as Bernie. Like, y'all realize that Bernie was a compromise, right? You guys are exposing your liberalism when you guys are saying, right. It's cool that we're not going to get a Bernie again. It's cool. We can sell for less. Like, no, you got a lot of socialists and communists was settling on Bernie. Like, that, he was a compromise. We knew the criticisms of him going in, but we decided to back him.
Kshama and Chris Hedges was one of that compromise. Yeah. Those were two people that did compromise because they worked in the campaign. He wrote speeches, but you notice in one of the interviews, I think with Bree, he was like, "No, I didn't vote for him. No, I didn't vote for him." He's like, "No, I didn't vote for him." He said that in the interview.
And we're gonna get to the interview later in the show, but the idea that you're gonna pick someone less than Bernie. So we wasted $400 million as a working class movement. One of my friends sent me the number. He did calculations. And guys, they don't even count the money we waste on progressive down ballot. You know what I mean? We just talking about just the Bernie campaign. So yes, it will actually hurt us if we try to do that again. The fact that Marianne Williamson is not hustling as much money from workers as Bernie Sanders did is a great thing. Imagine $400 million over 6 years being used on mutual aid programs and building a third-party infrastructure. Can you imagine? So who can afford to wait? But people were like, let's pick someone worse than Bernie. Bernie, the best, and this is another reason why I was behind Bernie, and why many socialists and other people back Bernie. You never seen anyone that had an opportunity like Bernie. No one that had a massive progressive apparatus that they developed over 20 to 25 years by making progressive relationships in Washington. Progressive media liked him. Like there was this massive infrastructure that we will never ever see again. So there are people that like Bernie to come out, like, man, we will never get someone like Bernie again. Never ever again. But you guys are way less influential with nowhere near the infrastructure setup that Bernie did. And you guys said, let's let the working class roll a dice. And all the arguments are falling apart. And CJ, I know you want to chime in, but all the arguments are falling apart. Because remember what they was arguing against us, CJ? And I'm not gonna let them forget. Are we gonna let them forget, Chad? I'm not gonna let them forget.
Of course not.
I remember when Marianne Williamson first launched her campaign, and we was calling her and their supporters out. We said, why you guys not running third party? Why you guys not running third party? CJ, you remember what they used to tell us? We can't run third party because if we run third party, they will ignore us. If we run third party, they won't invite us to a debate. Meanwhile, they're running as Democrats, and now they're complaining because the media ignoring them. They're now complaining because Biden is now canceling debates. The DNC canceling debates. So you guys are in the same goddamn position you would be in if you was in a third party. The only difference is you quit 5 months before. They don't acknowledge that.
Another difference is that we're building a movement when you are doing it the third party route. And I mean, it's not explainable. That's the reason why we talk about the logic that we kind of extract from what they say, because they never really give a logical, coherent understanding of this. It's just kind of like, this is the game. This is all we got. And like, no.
They'd be like, CJ, they'd be like, man, we run as Democrats. The media can't ignore us. And then our response to that, really? You think that's how it works?
And Nick, this is something I was thinking.
They're facing a rude awakening. I'll pass you to there, but now they're facing a rude awakening. Because you see these people bitching everywhere now. Why the media not covering us? We're not being invited to debates. Guess who was telling you that was going to happen 6 months ago?
And that's to my point that I was just about to bring up, is that, like, why are you dating a guy who you know everybody says he cheats on everybody? Like, we told you ahead of time, bro. We told you.
Like, oh my God,
it's like, why? We already told you. We warned you. We showed you video. We showed you the 17th time, the 17th girl testimony. And then you get in there and you want to drag us into these emotional roller coaster you're gonna be on from all the stuff we said, Nick, is going to happen. Like them ignoring you. Now you want us to go through this emotional roller coaster? Like, oh man, I'm mad. Like, no, we're not doing that. Yeah.
To that point, TJ, they was really upset at RBN because we were spoiling their script. Like the same way a pro wrestling fan. Imagine you sitting there at WrestleMania, like you know he about Roman Reigns about to win, right? Like, how you know that, like, bro? I tell you guys, my brothers, you know, they watch pro wrestling so long, they can tell you who's gonna win, right? Yeah, they can tell you. Like, imagine someone watching this event, like, bro, you already know he's gonna win, right? They'll ruin the shit. So we was there before the twists and turns, and we was like, yo, a few months later, you guys gonna complain about media coverage, but remember, Cal. Bree and these other people, the Vanguard, they was planning on doing that segment later. They're gonna be like, oh my God, why the media not covering us? We was cutting the head off. We was like, that segment, we telling you guys 6 months before, don't waste your time because the media not gonna cover you. How many times have we done stories where we come back 6 months later, we get heat on it, and we come back like we got them right.
Right. You want us to go through the emotion of them not putting her on a debate stage. Like, no, I'm not going. Oh, we're so mad. No, we did that with Jill Scott. We're not doing it no more. Like, no. We're telling you up front it's going to happen. And now you want to go through those emotions and then be outraged?
And then CJ, you want to know what else is on the script? You want to know the other emotional dump that's on the script? The dirty break that the Vanguard, Bree, and others were trying to promote. We told you guys the dirty break is not going to happen. And then Marianne Williamson went on MSNBC when pushed and essentially confirmed it. And then the Vanguards to this day still haven't apologized.
Nick, she has subsequently confirmed it. She has subsequently confirmed it many times. and and they still kind of mischaracterizing it. Even in this interview with Kshama, the language that Bree uses to talk about it is still soft, as if there's still a chance, as if she hasn't clearly said that's not happening. She went on Kyle and Kalinske. I forgot about this. She went on Kyle and Kyle and Crystal, and he asked her. So he already knew. It wasn't even a question of, are you gonna dirty break? It was like, so if you bow wow and this and that, are you gonna back out without extracting them? That's the fight they're trying to act like, without extracting nothing, like, because it was already a given. You're gonna back out and you're gonna endorse him, but are you gonna do it without extracting nothing? And she was like, no way. And I was like, oh God, what is this?
You see the disappointment they stand up for? Because now they're on the first phase. Now they had the story shift. They had the emotional shift in the story where, God damn it, who knew that we couldn't get on the debate stage? You had the Vanguard, Kyle Kalinske, and many others lie about the dirty break. And then when Marianne Williamson endorsed the Democrats, they're going to be like, oh my God, who knew? Oh man, who knew? Oh well, we thought there was a possibility. No, guys, I'm explaining it to you guys again. And I want you guys to be clear, because as far as I know, nothing has changed. When you run in the primary, you sign a contract that says you have to endorse the candidate. That is why Tulsi Gabbard endorsed Joe Biden when the Bernie Sanders campaign refused her endorsement, because she had to endorse whoever the leading candidate was. Tulsi Gabbard was strongly, like, at that point, she was already 1 foot in on her Republican grip, right? She was completely done with the Democrat Party, but she still had to endorse Joe Biden. That's how strong that fucking contract was. Bernie Sanders endorsed Joe Biden. And then people were saying, well, they have to endorse him because of the contract. And then all of a sudden, these same people completely lost their memory, completely forgot about this contract. So Marianne Williamson runs in her primary, and the DNC accepts her. She has to endorse the winner, which we all know will be Joe Biden, right? So the concept of a dirty break is a fraudulent lie that these people are pushing. Right. We just went through this. And these people want to make people forget their memory. So now, and when the primary is over after South Carolina, because that's where that shit's gonna end.
Like in the first couple of weeks,
that shit's gonna be over. Once that shit is over, she's gonna endorse her, and then they're gonna do this thing like, oh man, who would have known that? Even though we were saying that from the very beginning. And then they're gonna bring like, oh yeah, by the way, do you guys know there's a contract and Marianne Williamson technically had to endorse? They're gonna go through the whole thing again. You guys know they technically she wanted to rebel against the system, but she signed the contract, man.
Yeah, and we have to. We can't choose fascism, so come on, guys. We have to go with Joe. We already can see this, but Nick, you know what another foil of their plan is? JFK, because they were betting on New Hampshire. He gonna lock up New Hampshire. He's from Boston. He gonna lock up the New England area. So that's all she wrote. If it's not Joe Biden who wins New Hampshire, yes. If it's not Joe Biden who wins New Hampshire, JFK will win New Hampshire. He had family ties all up and down there. That's a lock for him. So her old plan of remember Kyle Kalinske and Crystal kept bringing up New Hampshire. He's skipping New Hampshire. They're going to be damn mad. And who can they turn to? Marianne. Not anymore. They're turning to RFK. And they're in the polling. Wait till the polling comes out for that. This is a house of cards that's collapsing. We called it. Go ahead.
Last time I saw, I didn't cover this on RBN, but last part I saw, Marianne Williamson was at 1%. RFK Jr. was a nuclear bomb on the Marianne Williamson project. The project that was already doomed to failure, then RFK came in like, all right, let me kill the rest of this campaign that you guys think you're running. They're running a campaign through breaking points. They're running a campaign through Cal. You have Marianne Williamson getting shout outs to Cal because she realized how important he is to her operation. Still can't crack over 1%.
As RBN is posting videos of Kyle talking about her. I put that in the stream. The same one when she's shouting him out for hitting 1 million views. It's like, look, we did it, Kyle. Go ahead.
That's funny. Is that true? I need people to confirm. Is that true? Because if that's true, that's hilarious. Kyle hasn't mentioned RFK by name. We mentioned how Kyle Kalinske is manufacturing consent for Marianne. So he can't. He doing a media blackout on RFK. The same thing he complained about Bernie. He's like, I can't make sure none of my people can ever switch. I'm not gonna never cover that guy. And if he does, I bet you he's gonna smear the shit out. He's gonna be like RFK, the anti-vax conspiracy theorist. What? It's gonna be 100%.
But Bree has talked about him many times. In this interview, she brings him up more than Marianne Williamson, and on Rising, she brings him up. So she is even if her personal opinion is that she's going to vote for Marianne Williamson, at least she's being professional and being even-handed to at least bring up multiple candidates and not just one. Unlike what Kyle is doing by not even talking about RFK. And I'm not sure of Breaking Points. I'm sure they covered it. I'm sure his announcement. Because another thing I noticed on Breaking Points, anytime Marianne Williamson, or a lot of times she tries not to be in an interview. Like Marianne Williamson has been on Breaking Points, but Crystal wasn't in an interview. And I think that's intentional because everybody knows. I mean, it's kind of too late, Crystal. I mean, everybody knows. You call it out in the comments, and everything. So I mean, it is what it is.
One last thing I want to make, and I actually may say this point for the Kshama thing, but it's the question that Bree leads in later. Actually, I probably will say this for later. I'll just preview it.
Okay.
Where she was just saying, well, do you regret Social's Alternative endorsing Bernie? And she kind of like, no, we don't really regret it. I want to propose this thought to you guys. I don't regret my campaigning for Bernie. And Bree even mentioned in the show, she shouted me out and she said, Nick will radicalize on the Bernie campaign. Once again, we're gonna get to this. I may be spoiling it too much. But the reason why I don't regret my life experience working on the Bernie campaign, because it helped radicalize me, talking to people and meeting people and dragging them to the left. But if I had to choose to do it again, I would do a different approach. So it's like a different. It's a multi-layer answer. I don't regret it, but imagine if instead of spending 6 weeks traveling multiple states canvassing for Bernie, imagine if I spent 6 weeks building a mutual aid organization.
Oh wow!
Like and we talked about this on our show before. It was during the third party summit. You know how people campaign and people are addicted to campaign. They do canvassing, phone banking. I am telling you guys to save your labor. Imagine if we phone bank and we do canvassing for mutual aid, for pro working class policies. This is what Sawant is doing in Seattle. That's what Casey Tennis is doing in Kansas City. They door knocking to get people on signed up to their tenant union. That's how they got the record amount of people signed up to a tenant union, the most in United States history. And they got like thousands because they've been knocking doors. So instead of knocking doors for Bernie Sanders, what if I spent 6 weeks knocking doors, building, like helping Rome, building a tour for the poor? Like we had our own organization. I'm knocking doors, signing people up. You know what I mean? Knocking people doors, see what you need. How can we help you? Trying to do a consensus, see what community. Like you guys see, so it's not that I regret the work on the Bernie campaign because it could be positive. My argument, the argument that RBN is making, all that labor can be spent on other shit. Like, so imagine the energy it would take to turn this disastrous campaign ran by Marianne Williamson to a legitimate threat. All that labor it would take to do that miracle. Imagine what we were talking with another
miracle. Your voice went high on it. That's a real miracle. Your voice went high on that.
Miracle. These Marianne Wilson people have been bothering us. Why won't you guys help us? We could do it. RBN, you guys are holding us back. We have 30,000 subscribers. You guys are holding us back. If only you guys got on board with us. If only people got on board with us. We just need to work hard. This is what they keep telling us. People with good faith. And I'm not even mad at these people. Because these people not even canceling us over our Marianne Wilson comments. They try and win us over. And these people are like, Nick, RBN, help us. We get what you're saying. Help us. So let's work this out with you guys. Let's say RBN got on board. Let's say Jimmy got on board. Convo got on board. Black Alliance for Peace got on board. Everyone got on board. And we did this miraculous campaign that lifted Marianne Wilson. She won 20 states and then she endorsed Joe Biden at the end of the day. Right? Imagine that effort being spent on imagine that on Tour for the Poor, building libraries, RBN chapters. That same effort. Imagine that same effort being spent to have a real working class party, anti-imperialist party that is rooted in mutual aid, that have mutual aid networks that span multiple cities where we can have rallies that can be done on the call. This is the kind of shit that I think about, CJ. Like, what did RBN look like in 5 to 10 years? What the fuck we look like 5 to 10 years? Not in 1 year. I'm thinking farther than that. What the fuck we look like? Because I want to be able, like CJ, when we done with this shit, we're going to see some bullshit happening and we're going to hit RBN Substack. Strike. We need strikes right now. Right. Hit your local RBN chapter. We need to hit the streets right now. They're passing the military budget expansion. And then we have some people in the streets. That's like endgame for us. Like that energy is what we need. We would not get there if we decide to spend all our energy on Marianne Williamson electoral politics. You know what I mean?
I would argue any energy on it because I'm becoming because electoral politics is so draining. Think about it. Think about how much content is made around politics when we only vote nationally every 4 years. Think about all the content that is made. It's so draining. Yeah. It's so mentally draining. It's so ideologically draining. In every facet, it's so draining. So anything beyond just going, oh, that person's too bad. That's a Green Party. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Anything beyond a couple of hours invested, to me, it's like, this is too much. Yeah. It needs to be put into something else. And to your point, I was trying to get this up while you were talking.
Yeah, go ahead.
Now, $10,000, you can donate that to, Marianne Williamson, and now what would that do? That would get her, get her some flights. That would get her a couple of appearances to get her some.
That was going to make a lot of money.
Yeah, that'll do that. Or that $10,000 could go to something like this, of a place that has this much damage that's being converted into a community library. And that you can see Rome's finger. That's the point of this.
And these projects sound crazy, CJ. Like when Rome does this stuff, look how much progress was made. Rome was like, I remember one day meeting Rome was like, guys, I think we're going to build a library. What? How are we doing that, Rome? Look how far he made it. And it seemed like a daunting task, right? He did this with pennies. Imagine $200 million that was spent on the Bernie campaign on multiple projects like this spread across the nation. Give Rome a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of what Marianne Williamson's going to get. And he's making shit happen. So I'm not even talking about Rome, I'm thinking bigger than that. Imagine the Bernie campaign money and resources on projects like this spread across the country. Rome is one person, but imagine Rome's being funded across the country. You know what I mean? There's a Rome somewhere in New York. They just don't got the funding. Someone ready doing work don't have the funding. There's a Rome probably somewhere in Atlanta. Just don't got the funding. Imagine instead of the working class did that ridiculous shit in hindsight, us throwing $400 million over 6 years to Bernie. Imagine if we spent that on these projects. And I don't even know what that would look like. Can you imagine if the left was actually smarter? And this stuff, like build organizations from the ground up on a local level, community to community. I want to do this. We work on the funding problem. That's the question. I'll be having all these ideas like funding problem, right? But imagine if we had a branch in Kansas City, branch in Detroit, a branch in Seattle, branch in LA. We can easily do that with the amount of money the working class is spending. I'm not talking about RBN. I'm talking about the working class, the people who are seeking liberation and their allies in general. I'm not just talking about us. I'm talking about anyone who's fighting for liberation. All that $400 million helping those people get their goals accomplished. These are the kind of things that the professional managerial class do not talk about at all. Let's do it again. We talking about the money we spent last time. What? This shit went right. What are you talking about? I got paid. I was getting a paycheck every 2 weeks. They were showing like, baby, how much money I made? What you talking about? We ain't waste no money. Kyle Kalinske, all these people that made money on the Bernie campaign, they're like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about wasting money? I got a new house. I'm good. What are you talking about? The money went to me. Meanwhile, us, all of us who did not benefit from the Bernie campaign, we are deflated because we like, what the fuck did we get with all our labor? What did we get? RBN, we propose that whether a left third party wins or not, that we leave with something at the end of the day. Your third party lose the election. Who gives a fuck? We just built community. We raised X amount of money during this campaign that went towards the community. Building
so the police not beating you upside your head is dependent on you voting for a Democrat or a Republican. That's what you waiting for? So, your educational system being terrible, that's dependent on every 4 years. So what about in between? So we're just getting bad educations throughout this? Like waiting, this idea that we can it's such a professional managerial class thing that has been ingrained into politics. Just think about it. This is not how a radical would do politics.
Yep.
How we do politics is so bourgeoisie. We sit back, listen to some clowns say some stuff that we literally know they're not going to do, then walk in, get in the line, nice little line, walk in and write some shit on the paper. That's, and then we go, yeah, I'm doing my job, my civic duty. Are you? Are you? To vote in a corrupt election, but picking between who's the less corrupt, and you think this is a democracy and we're winning in this dynamic. I don't understand it, Nick. After so many failures, how many times does AOC have to show her ass? And we're going to get to that story in just a bit, but maybe I should do some announcements.
We can. I think this is a good intro. We can. I'll pass to you to get into some announcements. Also, big news. I'm super hyped for this. Kshama will be joining us for RBN Live tomorrow. That's going to be fire. We highlighted a line for peace a lot, so it's great to have Kshama finally join the show. And it's gonna be back on Nick and CJ. I took a little time off the show because I did Fault Line Radio.
I remember.
And I did Jimmy Dore all back to back. That's why I took that Friday off, but it's gonna be back. So or it's good.
Yeah, and I took some time off. I took 3 or 4 days off, just having burnout. So just took days off. Still working in the background though. So people saw me doing the same stuff in the background, but just not streaming. Just needed some time off to get engaged more with the family, because that always refocuses you in what sort of the work that we're here to do. But let's go through a couple of announcements, maybe 30 seconds of announcements. 500 people here. Welcome all of you. Hopefully you've hit that subscribe button, but if you aren't a subscriber, stick around. Even if you don't agree, you will say, hey, at least these guys are at least honest and passionate about what they believe. Several stories coming up. Let me throw the graphic up and just tell you what we're going to be talking about today. So, of course, the news that just dropped in our lap, and we had to adjust the flyer for that, and that is Tucker Carlson is out at Fox. So, and we'll give you our take on this. And we're not rah-rah Tucker Carlson fans anyway, but we do have a unique take on this. And then something else found out right after that, literally maybe 2 minutes, Don Lemon was fired from CNN. So that was added. But originally, the main topic was going to be AOC's interview with Psaki, and it was state media. And it's kind of all came together. We're talking about the state of media, mainly corporate media. And then hopefully we can get to a couple of more stories that's kind of related. And that is the DNC says no primary debates in 2024. So how does that affect Marianne Williamson and everybody else? And then hopefully we're able to get to the Kshama Sawant interview on bad faith also. And a couple of other things. I showed you our website. Here is the here's our Substack. Join that if you want to know when we go live. We no longer send notifications for each video. We just send, so we have 5 clips to send out. We'll just send one notification with all 5 clips in that notification. So hopefully you like that. And Nick, if you didn't see it, we hit 33,000. Every time you go on Jimmy Dore, it is always a bump, and then it's just the flow. And then as our welcome video just happens to be the return of Trump derangement syndrome, so I think that kind of had an appeal to the people that was watching Jimmy Dore.
You gotta know
these guys are about it.
You gotta know we're crushed by the algorithm, shadow ban. Like we never allowed a trend. Like it's really bad. People tell us they never get notifications. Like people get unsubscribed from our channel all the time. Big shout out to Glenn, Jimmy, and the people at the Fault Line Radio, because we talked about this before. Like the only way people find our channel, they have to type our entire fucking name out. Like other people get recommended. Like people get I see independent news channel get recommended to me all the time because I watch a lot of independent news. Never RBN. never. Like people only way, and it's in our analytics. The only way people find our channel is when they type our full fucking name out. So whenever I go on Jimmy Dore and Aaron Mate and Kurt gives a shout out, that really helps. That's the only way people find our goddamn show. So big shout out to Jimmy and them who are actually not afraid to platform black radicals. There are many people who are many people who are afraid to platform us, but Jimmy and them not. So big shout out to Jimmy and Glenn. Because the algorithm kicks our ass. But that said, make sure you guys check to see if you're subscribed, because I hear stuff on this. People PM me all the time about nonsense that happens. So much love to everyone that help us grow. We only grow because you guys share it too. So it's really a community, and not algorithm at all. People, you guys know who we're talking about. You guys know the people. You guys know. I don't need to say names, but you guys know the people who are boosted by the algorithm. This shit pops up all the time. We are not one of those people. We grow because you guys share our stuff. So. It's a community effort, so much love to you guys. CJ, any other announcements?
Yeah, and I just wanted to shout out Heartlands Media is in the chat. He's been here all day, so shout out to Heartlands has been here, and welcome to all. We have a lot of new people. We got a couple of probably like 30 new ads during this stream. So welcome to all the new people. Whatever story you want to start with, like we can go either way. This is kind of all ties
together. There's so much to talk about because AOC was on Jen Psaki, and what did I tell you guys? I told you guys I love getting a show. I told you guys like 2 weeks ago, watch out for the Jen Psaki show. This shit is about to be propaganda on the next level. Next level propaganda. And they're going to be just like Morning Joe. And I told you guys, there's value for me watching Morning Joe, because when you watch those establishment shows, it's almost like they're the puppet, they're like the mouthpiece of the empire. So what they say about the Ukraine war, what the establishment say about the Ukraine war, what the establishment want you to think about economics is what they're saying about economics. That is what Jen Psaki show is. And AOC was on there, and we did a review of David Sirot's interview with AOC, and she was extremely uncomfortable, even with someone as milquetoast as David Sirota. But bro, when she was talking to Jen Psaki, she was in her fucking element. She was so happy. You guys remember the David Sirota interview? And she was looking around. I don't know. She was not the same person at all. Like even David Sirota's not really hard questions were making her extremely uncomfortable. Meanwhile, she does interviews with Rachel Maddow, MSNBC. She's like she's right at home.
She does look very, very comfortable. And like to your point, because a lot of the clips we're gonna be playing, it's in different spots, and it's like, how the hell did that happen? It's because when you have a movie producer, a Hollywood producer making this production for this state TV program, this is how it comes out. They're trying to appeal to the people that would watch The View. That's who they're appealing to. They're trying to appeal to that middle of America where they want to see people kind of with a movie style backdrop as they are talking. It appeals to them. It draws them in emotionally. Go ahead.
So the David Schroeder interview was a disaster for AOC.
Yeah, definitely.
Even David Schroeder's own fans calling her out. If you guys want to check out the full story, we have a clip that literally released in the last week where we covered AOC's interview with David Schroeder in the back.
Oh, yes.
Because she went on there and just told lies that even the people that we criticized couldn't take. Like, we criticized the Jacobin PMC left, but Jacobin wrote an article because it was like, damn, man, we can't go that far with you. Eh? We can't fuck with you that much. Some people are, Ryan Grimm is going down with the ship, but some people not. So Jacobin, David Schroeder, his entire fan base turned on her because her performance was so horrible. So that's why she avoids independent media. Because even someone like David Schroeder can accidentally expose her. Like Bernie Sanders is afraid of Cal Kalinske. Can you guys imagine if RBN or any of our allies got our hands on AOC for 10 minutes? So she ran back to corporate media where she's been having a great time, having conversations with Mehdi Hasan after Biden gave a State of the Union address. Guess who they called to go on Rachel Maddow replacement show? No, it wasn't replacement. I'm getting it wrong. That was actually Rachel Maddow. They called her in because it was one of the big shows. So they called Rachel Maddow, who doesn't work for a time, one of the few people who actually has an audience in cable news. AOC, you go there and tell everyone how great Joe Biden has been. And that is exactly what she's done. And the same with this interview, you see she's just buzzing with energy. Look at how AOC is extremely comfortable in an environment where me and CJ will definitely be uncomfortable in.
And the thing is, Nick, let me say this about Jen Psaki, because when we recognize a serious problem or threat, we have to say it, and Jen Psaki is that.
Yeah,
she's being propped up as to be the next person that everybody watches, progressive,
she's a
fresh
dangerous
face.
person.
She is that person, Nick. If you notice, if you watch Morning Joe, they keep putting her in there because they're trying to make her visible, make sure you're going to watch her show. They're grooming her. And how is she getting people like John Kerry and AOC like regularly? Like, just, I'm telling you, this is the person they're trying to craft and cultivate an audience for her, because she's the one that's going to be the face that they're trying to push some more nonsense.
Yeah, she funded the government, so she got all the contacts in government. Her first show was with Eric Holder. We got Eric Holder exclusive. Like, if you want to analyze propaganda, you want to see what the establishment is saying, that is the show to watch. And we already featured her before, and trust me, we're gonna be featuring her a lot, because you see some crazy ass shit coming out of her show already. Like this one, I'm gonna show you guys a fuller interview, but this is the clip that's going viral because AOC and Psaki is here, and they are just having a shit live-a-thon here. They're just shit living it up. We're gonna get to a longer clip. Like, man, AOC is so
living it up.
Yeah, you're gonna see some shit here. You're gonna see some shit living nonsense here. So I want to leave with this because we're not gonna watch the whole interview, but I want to make sure we definitely cover this part. I have another part of the interview I think a lot of people miss because
this is related to another one.
Like, they sitting down here and chatting, but Psaki was so happy to meet AOC, and AOC so happy to be on the propaganda network. You had AOC, they're like, let's go on the walk too. Like, we can't just do a sit down interview. We gotta go on the walk too. So there's two parts to this. So we don't watch this part because this part is the most interesting. And this is not interview full, nothing red blue nonsense, right? So look at what they say here. Look at what AOC and them say.
Federal regulation in terms of what's allowed on air and what isn't. And when you look at what Tucker Carlson and some of these other folks on Fox do, it is very, very clearly incitement of violence. Very clearly incitement of violence. And that is the line that I think we have to be willing to.
Can you pause that?
Yeah, so
can you go back to that? Can you go back to that shot of the water? And I mean, look at her hair. Isn't this a daytime show? Can you go back to where you can see both of them in the shot with the water?
Yeah. I'm gonna let play mute it.
Just for sure. It's crazy because this is so movie producered up. Like I was telling you, and I didn't even see like the white shot as much in the clip. The other clip, I didn't see this clip. This is crazy. That is like you would see that shot like on a movie. Like you would see that shot, and this is a daytime show that's on a cable news network. This is not even on primetime TV like an NBC or an ABC. I'm telling you, Psaki is here to be the one that's trying to sell whatever, the top person that's trying to sell something. This person here.
This is like, bro, we tell you guys all the time, man. Me and CJ, we watch this shit and laugh. The propaganda is so aggressive. I'm literally just laughing. It's so aggressive. So now let's actually analyze the crazy shit they just said. I'll play the video again because it's only a 23-second clip.
Yeah, it's
let's
very
watch
short.
This shit again and look at and listen to this unhinged fascist right here on the left. Listen to this person. I'm gonna explain here soon. Oh wait, I'm sorry, I'll unmute it. Here we go.
Federal regulation in terms of what's allowed on air and what isn't. And when you look at what Tucker Carlson and some of these other folks on Fox do, it is very, very clearly incitement of violence. Very clearly incitement of violence. And that is the line that I think we have to be willing to contend with.
Can you before you go, Nick, because I actually have a slightly longer version of this same clip, and I want to play the full thing before we both comment. And it's not going to add, it's not going to add context to what AOC says. It's just going to tell you what Jen says. So this is the same clip.
That's fine. Yeah, we watched this one. Yeah, go ahead. That's fine.
Yeah, we just saw the second half, and let's listen to what Jen says here.
And do you think media organizations or social media platforms should be accountable for the role for being platforms for incitement?
I believe that when
I'm telling you, Nick, and I was going to say this after the clip, and we can stop here. I just wanted you to hear Jen's part. We already heard AOC's part.
Because you can see the context.
Yeah. Oh, let me let it finish then. Let me let it finish.
Finish.
Let me let it finish. My bad. Let me let it finish the whole way. It's only 40 seconds.
And
do you think media organizations or social media platforms should be accountable for the role for being platforms for incitement?
I believe
What
that
does
when
that
it comes
mean?
to broadcast television, like Fox News, these are subject to federal law, federal regulation in terms of what's allowed on air and what isn't. And when you look at what Tucker Carlson and some of these other folks on Fox do, it is very, very clearly incitement of violence.
I told you guys
incitement of violence.
I told you, man. Bro, AOC did not go on Jen Psaki's show to burn down the house. She went there to shit lib it up. She didn't even use a left criticism of Fox News. She used the same line that we hear from Morning Joe all the time. Fox News is inciting violence. What does that mean? I'm asking you, because this is something that's important to hammer on, because apparently the DSA, deeply unserious, truly dumb left is falling for this. What does it mean to incite violence? You want to know what inciting violence? Inciting violence is calling for war. You got liberals that constantly call for the death of Russians all the time. You have liberals that call for war with China because of Taiwan. How is calling for war not inciting violence? How is not calling for more police funding not inciting violence? You guys incite violence all the time through your pro-war politics.
Nick, but meanwhile, liberals, you going right to the same place I'm going. Go ahead.
I know you want to chime in, but AOC, I'm asking you guys this question. What does it mean to incite violence? Because at the risk of getting in trouble here, when I expose corruption, I kind of want you guys to do something about it. AOC, when you say eat the rich, are you inciting violence? Are you inciting violence when you say eat the rich? When I expose to you massive corruption, that's because I want the person involved in corruption to go in prison. I want something to happen to them. So are we inciting violence on a politician when we call it the corruption? Because this is what AOC says. People are inciting violence on me because they're criticizing me. Jimmy Dore is doing violence against me. You guys see, this is the new professional managerial class favorite term. Wonder how long it took them to beta test this. Wonder how many focus groups they ran this one through, CJ. Whenever they criticize, they're inciting violence. No one is more violent than the modern liberal who trying to start World War III with China over Taiwan. These people, Facebook literally lifted a rule where you can now say that Russians deserve to die. You can call for the deaths of Russian deaths, but Tucker Carlson and Fox is inciting violence? I'm not saying they're not, but based on your vague terms, you all are.
And the NATO left, Nick, the boutique left, they're going to be all over this. AOC takes down Tucker Carlson. Yep. AOC calls out you, and this is how this is the propaganda that the independent media do. Strike breaking is crickets. No content. Strike breaking.
Yep.
Oh, NATO, she does this. Oh, she calls out Tucker Carlson. Now he's gone. All over PMC media. Watch how it is. And this is the trade-off, Nick. NATO left look at this as a win, such a big win, that they're willing to trade off them AOC voting to break a strike. You see how they're not for the working class?
Yeah.
They're hey, watch the videos they make and how they're gonna be like Tucker and this and this and that. It's gonna be insane clown shit. But they're willing to accept AOC's faults of doing what she did to the working class if she gives them these little like culture warrior sort of ways to go. Yeah, she dunked on them or whatever phrase they use. Go ahead.
And AOC is so dangerous because this is a right-wing count and everyone would tweet this out. Look what they say. AOC calls on the government to ban Tucker Carlson and other Fox News hosts. And then if you go down the comments, remember, this is a right-wing feed. You had a lot of people that saying, "Oh, this is look, here it is. Here's one of many of them." She went from champagne socialist to downright communist.
What?
And right wingers also say this is why. Look at this unhinged ideology by AOC that we do not agree with. And then you got people say, "Oh my God, this is why the left is against the First Amendment."
Right. They call this woke.
Look.
They call this wokeism right here. This is wokeism.
Look, this guy said she speaks like a true communist, even though a true communist would never, ever give this state-ran capitalist powers to censor. Why the fuck will we give capitalists the ability to dictate what is acceptable speech? That is beyond absurd. But the reason why I'm showing you guys this. Sorry, CJ.
No, go ahead.
But the reason why is because this is why liberals love AOC. She is the left representative, and she makes the quote-unquote left position look horrible. Horrible. So right-wingers and the general populace looks at AOC, who is more unpopular than Nancy Pelosi, and say, this is what a socialist and this is what a communist looks like.
Right.
You guys see the problem? You guys see why we lead the way in Chris calling out AOC? And the people who don't, you're punting the ball. Because now people associate her fascist garbage, her pro-war Ukrainian garbage. I see right-wingers who don't know of RBN all the time. They always say, oh my God, the left-wingers and their obsession with war. You guys hear that? Yeah. Because they see AOC and Bernie supporting war, so they think that's the left-wing position now. So it's upon us. That's why whenever I go on like Jimmy, Glenn, or anyone else's show, right-wingers like, God damn, RBN based. I didn't know there was lefties like that. I already got the feedback from being on the right, like people to the right, and it's because Jimmy and Glenn, they cultivate a wide audience, right? They got a wide audience of people. So the people on the right wing, on Glenn, I was talking to Glenn afterwards. He was like, dude, a lot of the right wingers like, dude, I'm a fucking open black communist. And they're like, man, I never heard this position before. Because people like AOC psyop those positions and make us look bad. So it's our job to call these frauds out.
Bernie included. Bernie is part of this bunch that psyops what it means to be socialist. He's actually the one that got the ball rolling, and just AOC is doing a better job at it. Yeah. But what is this? Oh, here's another. Wow! So I didn't see this one. I didn't see.
Yeah, this is what I can't wait. CJ, I can't wait to see it because that is the viral clip. That clip is going viral on Twitter with her calling for government censorship. Because people are inciting violence, whatever that means. Whatever that means. I will make the argument that every single corporate media entity is involved in that. That's how you know AOC is doing propaganda, which you said only Fox News that is doing that. Anyone who's pro-war is inciting violence, as far as I'm concerned, right? So that clip went viral, and I feel like more people need to see this one. Because CJ, let me tell you, when I was watching this one, I had to stop it quite a few times. I had to stop it and take breaks. Like, God damn, this shit is crazy. Let's see how this is impossible. Challenge level impossible. Sitting through this video. Not even like,
wait, let's try it. Let's try it. Okay, I'm gonna try it. Wait, how long is it? How long is it?
So this came out literally today.
No, I mean, is it 1 minute? Is 1 minute long?
It's only like 8 minutes, not a long segment.
Okay, let's. Oh yeah, I don't know if I can get to 8 minutes.
I'm gonna stop. There's a few places I'm gonna stop because there's points that have to be made. But this AOC is so comfortable on MSNBC compared to independent news. They were doing the sit-down interview. They're like, "Oh, come on, let's go on a walk too. Let's change the setting. We homegirls here." And look how much Jen Psaki feels unthreatened by AOC. Look at how much she loves AOC. And I want you to ask yourself as I play this video. Would they do a segment like this with someone like Malcolm X?
No.
With O'Malley from the Uhuru Black Protest movement?
Walking along the water. And Can I get this shit out of here, man? Let's talk about some real shit.
And I use an extreme example, right? Like O'Malley from the Black Uhuru Socialist movement who was just charged by the guy. Can you imagine him doing an interview strolling along the beach with his war criminal? No way. Anyway, let's watch. I think I hyped it enough. Let's watch it.
Project and why it was so important to you to fund.
Absolutely. Well, I really think that this represents our climate policy at work, which is our whole approach to climate policy is that you don't have to trade off jobs, the environment, and really good, just outcomes for communities. So
my approach to climate policy is that you don't have to trade off your pro-war ambitions. Yeah, I know that carbon emissions for the Ukraine war is off the charts, but based on my ideology, you don't have to trade climate activism with being pro-war. That's not a sacrifice I believe you have to make.
So Nick,
go ahead, CJ.
Like this is a fun part, but this is also funny and serious because AOC, and we saw it, you and I called it the night of the State of the Union. AOC has literally, I think we can say publicly, has accepted the role of establishment left and going out to shield. She has accepted that role. Think about what she's saying. She is trying to sell young followers, young socialists, young people that you don't have to give up policy in order, like you can accept imperialism and still be left. That's what she's essentially trying to sell. She's trying to sell capitalism and imperialism as something acceptable, and you can still be called a socialist. That's what she's trying to sell.
Yes, and also AOC, Bernie, and the squad are committing a massive sin that was otherwise considered unacceptable back in the Sunrise Day before they sold out. AOC, and you watch this part of the video, became the biggest incrementalist in Washington, one of the biggest advocates of incrementalism. What happened to you either listen to the science or not regarding climate? Now they're like, yeah, I know we got the Willow Project. Yeah, I know we spend the military budget by funding some bullshit project that's not going to change anything. Be happy about it. This climate incrementalism is garbage. It's garbage. You're either doing the right thing, you're either waging class warfare on the people accountable for it, or you're not. AOC is not. AOC is voting with the military industrial complex. You guys understand? There's no more of this bullshit, but they do it all the time. And Jim Psaki gonna be giggling along because they know they all part of the scheme together. I'll play the part from the beginning. We let it play because a lot of this is fluff. I don't think we got to stop it all the time, but there is some parts that is gonna be. Feel free to interrupt anytime, CJ. But there's gonna be some parts that's gonna be hard to get through. This part, the first part is just bullshit fluff. AOC pretending that she's a champion of the climate, but trust me, they're gonna shift after this conversation to something that we get to more substance to show how she is 100% complicit with state media. So let's go into it.
What we're doing here is that we have acquired federal funds to construct a training facility so people can learn the skills necessary to build the underwater pylons that offshore wind turbines go on top of. These are really good, high-paying, very often union jobs, and we're doing it at a public college, SUNY Maritime, in the Bronx, so that the communities that have been most impacted by the front lines and injustices of
you can push incrementalism now.
I
fund the war, and that's okay because I'm doing this
and so
useless
really
bullshit project that's not going to matter.
It's going to create so many jobs for folks in our community at high, dignified pay.
And when this project is all done, still a little work to go, what is it going to be doing exactly?
It's going to be, some of these facilities, for example, are like deep pools, and people will be putting on scuba equipment in order to figure out how you construct pylons underwater.
I must say this is very unusual. This is a very unusual dynamic that you don't see in interviews. They're willing to be outside where the sound is not controllable. You're hearing, and she's not even really discussing a point where she needs to be seen outside. Like this is like what she's saying, and then this backdrop is to sell the point of what she's saying. Like they're really doing. Look, don't you see a crane in the back? Don't you see a crane? So what I'm saying, this is stuff moving. Wheels are turning. That's what she's trying to sell.
This is such PMC garbage. Look at AOC like, oh my god, look at this organization I put my name on. Because she look at those in the interview. She keeps saying we doing this, we doing this. AOC, you're not doing shit. What the fuck are you talking about? AOC, you put your name on some work other people are doing. She's talking about we doing this. What the fuck are you talking about? This is PLC shit. AOC put her name on it. She may approve this as a congressperson, and then she come out and interview like, oh my god, look at what I did. Look at my project. Look at my project I'm working on, guys. Look at my professional managerial class project that's going to help the climate agenda, even though I'm funding the military industrial complex. Even though I'm complicit with a climate disaster, I'm going to do the project, and you're going to praise me because I'm on top of my field and my PMC project. This is nonsense, and as workers, this should make your skin crawl. But PMCs watch this shit. The Sam Cedar, the TYT watching shit. They're like, slay, girl, boss. Slay queen. Look, we got 2 queens. We got 2 queens on the screen. Oh my God, look how great the suits are. That's what the PMCs are saying. Meanwhile, the workers, we are rolling our eyes at this shit. Watch, it gets even more cringe. I told you, the beginning is more filler than the part we're going to get to. Like, it gets extremely cringe, especially when they change the subject here.
Able to partner with apprenticeships and union programs so that when the funding comes in through whether it's the Inflation Reduction Act or other types of federal funding to construct offshore wind turbines, these folks are going to be the first in line to get those jobs.
You're still a part of a new generation of
now,
leaders in Congress.
Like, this is the part. Look at the scenery change. Look, they was in the office at first, sitting down like we hanging out, coffee talk. Then we're gonna show you this project. Now we hitting the streets. We walking the streets like ordinary people.
Now, you know how unnatural this is? Not an unnatural Who does that, Nick? You and I, like you and Ron was there. You and Ron was in your room, y'all talking, and he says, "Pause." Y'all go outside and pick up the conversation there. Who does that? That's what you have to do in order for this to make sense. But go ahead.
Well, I'll tell you, man, Jen Psaki, bro, she about to have the highest productive propaganda out here. It's gonna be very hilarious to watch. So I'm gonna play this part again because this is where the interview gets hilariously cringe. Because Jen Psaki in this interview, you're gonna watch this dynamic where Jen Psaki is trying to do propaganda for AOC. So everyone on the left know AOC is a fraud. So Jen Psaki keep doing stuff like, how does it feel to be a radical congressperson? How does it feel to be? Oh, I spoiled it. You guys see, you guys see, Jen Psaki is doing a job for AOC too in this segment. Watch, you see what I'm talking about.
He's been there now for a couple of years.
Right,
first in line to get those jobs.
You're still a part of a new generation of leaders in Congress. You've been there now for a couple of years. Who gives you hope in the Democratic Party as you look around at fellow members or other leaders around the country?
Considering the situation we are in right now, we all know the left is obliterated. She's like, you're in the office for a few years. What gives you hope? And let's see how connected this answer is with you guys. And leave a chat. How connected this answer is going to be with your life? Let's listen.
I am so excited and energized by the evolution of grassroots and community organizations and the extent of their involvement. Historically in Washington, it's been a lot of very established institutions and advocacy organizations that have had a seat at the table. But now we're seeing this explosion in grassroots organizing that is starting to cross the threshold into real influence in policymaking. And
do you guys see why AOC is so dangerous? She's not the best. You guys see why AOC is so goddamn dangerous? Here's the toxic positivity. First, she injects toxic positivity, and then she brings up bullshit on how grassroots organization has effects on policy. On Jim Crow Joe, far-right policy. He's sending more money to the police. ICE is being spending more. We're on the cusp of World War III. He's literally privatizing Medicaid. But AOC is telling you that in the Democratic Party, grassroots organization has power. You guys see the problem of AOC? She's here to give you guys false hope that grassroots organizers has power within the Democratic Party. This is
and that's how you
go ahead, CJ.
This is very, very dangerous. And this is why to those people that here and there, it's not a lot. Why are you always talking about this is so dangerous? Imagine if nobody comes out and says this is all lies, you're making this up. She's literally, this is fantasy land that they're talking about. This is not even real. And I think they know it. They know it. It's just that they're trying to convince other people that what they're talking about is real and actual. Go ahead.
CJ, it gets worse. This is the point in the interview where I really had to I paused this shit so many times at this point because I'm gonna repeat it. I'm gonna play this part again because I want you guys to realize AOC and Bernie, like we said long time ago, their job, they are the youth wing of the Democratic Party. Their job is to recruit young people to this fascist, capitalist, imperialist party that does not have their interest. So AOC and Bernie is here to pretend that everything's going okay. Let's continue this strategy, even though we know it's failing. And Jen Psaki is here to help her. That's why she came with that question. Which you should Anyway, let's I'll let it play.
Institutions and advocacy organizations.
I want to start from the beginning. I'm gonna let it play some more because the answer gets more ridiculous, CJ, whether you believe it or not. Because there's a particular part I can't wait to get to. Wait.
Involvement. So excited and energized.
As you look around at fellow members or other leaders around the country.
I am so excited and energized by the evolution of grassroots and community organizations.
And then wait till you see what organization she's talking about. Just wait.
And the extent of their involvement. Historically in Washington, it's been a lot of very established institutions and advocacy organizations that have had a seat at the table. But now we're seeing this explosion in grassroots organizing that is starting to cross the threshold into real influence in policy making. And that to me is beyond inspiring.
Is there an organization or a new colleague or someone people should know about that you're excited about?
Yeah, I mean,
so this is the point where Jim was like, wait, what left group are you talking about that has policy? So just like you're probably legit like, what are you talking about? And they'll feel like, oh, I didn't know she was gonna ask me. Look at who she comes up with.
I think groups like Sunrise and many others are
Sunrise.
The sellout group Sunrise. Oh my God.
The Sunrise Movement, one of the biggest sellout organizations. That's her answer. What gives you hope, AOC? What organizations and movements? She didn't mention Tour for the Poor. She didn't mention any mutual aid organizations. She's not talking about any socialist or communist groups. She said fucking Sunrise Movement.
So basically, she's acknowledging the quote unquote grassroots organizations are organizations that bent the knee to Joe Biden and continue to bend the knee, even though he keeps breaking promises directly made to them. That's the people who they're fine with saying, now you have a seat at the table that we don't listen to. What does that do, Nick? Hey, you're at the kid's seat where nobody listens to, but you're at a seat. So that makes you feel, like you're part of something. And that's all of what DSA people want. They want to be at the kid's seat. At least they're in the building. At least they're at the banquet is how they look at it, even though they're at the kid's seat. Go ahead.
So let's translate what she's really saying here. We can do it either way. But this is what she's really saying. I'm so thankful that there's a sellout organization like the Sunrise Movement that would never call me out. That would give me hope, Jen. It gives me hope that there are kids out here that still don't see through my bullshit. There's a group that will endorse Joe Biden, even though Joe Biden said he was gonna frack, and they'll still endorse him. So proud of those kids. They sold out just like me. That gives me hope. That's what she's really saying. Anyway, let's continue. Believe it or not, CJ, it gets worse because there's still a certain part I'm waiting for. It gets worse. There's a certain part of the video where I'm like, yep, that's a low. That's the low right there. We're not there yet.
So exciting. In terms of my colleagues, this new freshman class is phenomenal. I have the honor of being the vice ranking chair under Jimmy Raskin for the Oversight Committee. And we just have amazing freshmen in our class, from Becca Ballant, who's the first woman to be elected in the state of Vermont, Maxwell Frost.
Maxwell Frost is terrible. He's terrible.
Who did you just say, AOC?
The Palestinian sellout. It's the guy who sell out Palestinians.
You mean the guy who voted against lifting Syrian sanctions? Hold up. It's almost like AOC is here to do propaganda for the biggest sellouts among us. So AOC, who gives no left activist shout outs, she gives shout out to Maxwell fucking Frost. If you guys don't know who Maxwell Frost is, we did a few segments on him. He's the guy who infiltrated Palestinian groups, told them that he doesn't support the two-state solution. He told them they support BDS in order to get their emails. He took fundraise money from Palestinian groups. And then the second he won the Democratic Party nomination, he told all of them to lose his number. Straight up ghosted every single left organization that he knew. And then he went to Congress and turned into an outright neocon. He was called out recently for his support of the Ukraine war. War solid. We covered that. He voted against lifting Syrian sanctions. This guy started out like I said Jamal Bowman was the biggest sellout. Maxwell Frost is the #1 MVP. Yeah. Michael Jordan, a progressive sellout.
Quickest one. It's like getting drafted out of high school. That's him. He got drafted out of high school, and he is absolutely terrible.
He's bad. Terrible. Even the Jacob Ben Leff called him out. Like the Jacob Ben Leff wrote the articles like, "Yo, what's up with Maxwell Frost and his connection with Palestinian groups?" We heard like they can't like. So even they was like, "Dude, this dude kind of trash." Meanwhile, AOC says people like Maxwell Frost gives her hope. What does that say? She sees everything Maxwell Frost is doing, and she's like, "You're killing it, fam."
I wish I was like that in the beginning.
Oh my god, man! I wish I didn't give a fuck like you. Like when I first started, I had some shame. I felt like my shame is gone now, but it took me a long time to lose it. But man, the way you had no shame, the way you sold out the Palestinians with no shame.
Jamal Bowman is all mad. He was like, "I thought I had the crowd. I thought I was trying to sell out the fastest, and look at you, Maxwell."
So I'll let a lot more of this play because I got to a lot of the main part. But the rest of the interview is fascinating because you see AOC's like she fully embraced her position as just a fucking Democrat shit lib. Like this is why I said they up here they're shit living it up. Because now they're gonna go with rapid fire, red blue shit lib nonsense.
First Gen Z member of Congress. We have folks like Greg Casar and Summer Lee that really represent communities that are from steel production in Pittsburgh and all of these amazing communities, but they're bringing a vibrancy and showing that the kind of representation that we didn't even think was possible in some places actually is. And so that's
you see AOC, man, she's the Zach fucking person right wingers mock when they talk about woke ideology. The thing that RBN we push back on all the time because we don't fall into that nonsense. But that's AOC. She's a fucking imperialist. But she's like, you want to know what's giving me hope? They're imperialists like Maxwell Frost shit living it up too. We got representation. That's what she's talking about, guys. Maxwell Frost is horrible, but she's happy because he's the first Gen Z member of Congress. He's like, yeah, I'm so happy Gen Z got the first neocon. Dude, this is who they talk about when they talk about woke politics. And we hate when they do it, but we know they're talking about AOC, and she legitimized a lot of their arguments because those arguments don't hold up on us, right? But it hold up when you talk about AOC. AOC is a woke imperialist. She is.
Yeah, she is.
That's why
they wouldn't be able to say the word and the concept would never have any wings if they didn't have people that actually it applies to, and she's one of them.
Yeah,
she's literally one of them. I think I spelled it right. Shit libbing it up. I think I spelled it right. But go ahead with the video.
So CJ, there's only 5 minutes left. I don't think I had to interrupt that much.
If you guys, just keep going. I'm good.
But at this point, because I feel like the rest of this segment, because I think I talked a lot during this. I feel like the rest of this segment really speaks for itself. Like I really think you guys will watch this segment. You guys see exactly what the fuck AOC is doing now. So I'm gonna let it play some bit. Feel free to interrupt though if you want, CJ.
To me is really inspiring.
So you're in the minority in Congress for the first time since you were elected.
This part is hilarious
it seems like you're kind of having fun being a bit of an agitator.
She's an agitator. You see how Jen Psaki is doing propaganda for AOC? I lied. I'll definitely probably interrupt this. But you guys see, Psaki's like, man, AOC, kind of crazy. You're a radical. I know it's kind of crazy. You're a radical. AOC like, just a little bit.
You're an agitator. But you see the dynamic. But you see the dynamic that both of them, these Washington swamp monsters, know that I can really be an agitator when my party's not in power.
Yes,
you see that? It's something that both understand, and they're both laughing. Yeah, that's when you see them put forth bills. You see that? Oh, why didn't you draft this bill, Bernie? When you had the House, Bernie? Why you didn't do that, Pramila Jayapal? She did something. You know, Ro Khanna did like 2 bills already.
Remember, Bernie
doing all these things.
To your point, sorry to interrupt, but to your point, remember, Bernie didn't put up the Yemen resolution when Democrats had the full majority in Congress. He waited till after Biden lost the majority. I'm saying, like, now we care about ending the war in Yemen.
Yeah, exactly.
He didn't want to put it up when Democrats were in charge, because that means Biden would have been forced to veto the bill like Trump did. So he didn't want to make Biden look bad, so he waited till he's in the minority. Now, this is very damning on AOC. We covered this story a few weeks ago, CJ. Remember where they just admitted it? I'm like, dude, you guys just said it. AOC just admitted. She said in an interview, she said, there's a lot of ways where I actually like being a minority versus being a majority. Because in a minority, you're in a position where you can do a lot more of the political stuff than you are in the majority. I'm like, she literally just told it. She's so confident that her fans in the PMC left is not going to turn on her. She just straight up said in a minority she does shit she won't do in a majority because she got a lot of pressure from the party. Because she even said she's like, when in a majority, there's a lot of pressure. The Washington work is weird. Like, she's trying to weasel away, but she just straight up admit she's a clown who performs only when nothing's going to happen. But listen to this shit, because this shit actually is another part of the interview I remember as being significant. So I'll rewind that lead play a little bit, much as I can tolerate, at least.
So you're in the minority in Congress for the first time since you were elected. It seems like you're kind of having fun being a bit of an agitator. Are you enjoying that?
Like, you know me, I'm a little bad.
Holding those in power accountable.
Hold them accountable.
Fundamental part of our role, and it's a part of a role that I draw on from my history in advocacy and organizing and activism, but it's also one where we can propose solutions while we're also holding people accountable for the decisions that they're making. And so, yeah, I think it's been an important role.
How has she held Joe Biden accountable for funding the border industrial complex more? Record amounts than compared to Donald Trump. Real question. How has she held Biden accountable for the Willow Project? Anyway, I think you guys are smart enough. I'll let it play. I think you guys.
And you know what? Something else is just realized in this. That is a red carpet, sir. That they put that long of a red carpet down that street. Where's that street red? Are you serious? There's no way. Is that just painted? That whole sidewalk painted red? They could not have put a red carpet down that whole thing. I gotta be wrong. I gotta be wrong.
That's stuff more than me, so that's definitely not an accident. Hold on.
And they cleared out that whole street. You notice no person has walked by or nothing like that. You noticed that, right?
This is motherfuckers. Anyway,
go ahead.
This is hard to get through, but
this is Hollywood,
it's
right here.
Ridiculous. I think you guys are smart to catch it at this point. Because look at this.
Also, holding people accountable for the decisions that they're making, and so yeah, I think it's been an important role for us to play.
So you're also a pretty politically astute observer. There is a presidential race that's happening right now. Donald Trump, people think, some say, is the easiest person for Joe Biden to run against. What do you think about that?
Well,
the easiest potential Republican nominee, I should say.
I think there's something to be said about that. The dynamics of these races change from day to day. I think that Governor DeSantis has made some very large critical errors. And I think he's weaker than...
What are his biggest errors, do you think, as you've watched?
Well, you can't out-Trump Trump, right? And that's what he's really been trying to do. His attacks...
you're right. I don't have to pause it here because
LGBT Americans.
AOC is just repeating shit you heard on MSNBC.
Way too far in the state of Florida, and I think that they are profound political miscalculation and an overcompensation. He may be trying to win a base, but that base belongs to Donald Trump, and he has sacrificed. I think.
I'm gonna let you keep playing, but you gotta see how comfortable she is talking about this unnecessary red-blue nonsense. Compared to anything of substance.
Yes.
Now you're not, no, that's like, this red blue shit. Oh, just watching Rachel Maddow break this shit down. I had this part memorized.
Yeah, she's stuttering on the David Sirota show when he asked her about the strike breaking and stuff. Yep. She's stuttering over there, but when it comes to this part, it flows. But yeah, let's listen. Let's watch a little bit more, and then we can we can end it if you want. Yeah.
Others may have thought would make him competitive.
Only 2 minutes.
Which is this idea that he would somehow be more rational than Donald Trump, which he isn't.
Now, you're very familiar with surprising people and winning a primary. Mm-hmm. Is there anyone in the Republican field, you would disagree with them completely on policy issues, but that you think maybe they have something, or maybe they could take on Trump? It is early in the process.
I think in the House, I see the dynamics and the political dynamics in the House very often mirror some of the political dynamics happening out in the country. And I think
I'm gonna go on MSNBC and talk about no left shit, no Medicare for all, nothing.
Yeah, what is this
nonsense? I'm gonna let this play because this filler, just so you guys see what happened.
Even
But it's only
beyond
2 minutes
Donald
left.
Trump.
I'm just letting it play.
And so,
It's
to be
bullshit.
honest, I don't, because the individuals that have wanted to appeal to people's cooler senses in the party have all been driven out. Every Republican who voted for impeachment is
no longer there.
And so I really struggle to find anybody that can both accomplish that task and unite their party.
So you have developed this reputation. I don't know if you like this or not, as a firebrand.
What
do people get wrong about you or not know about you?
Bro, you see how Jen Psaki is doing PR AOC in this interview? I know some people say you're kind of a firebrand. Some people say you didn't do it, Malcolm X. Any comment? All right, I'll let it play. Oh my God, Jesus fucking Christ. We almost done, guys.
And unite their party.
So you have developed this reputation. I don't know if you like this or not, as a firebrand.
Yeah.
What do people get wrong about you or not know about you?
I think very often when I meet with colleagues or individuals that I had not met with before, they are surprised that I do my homework a lot. I know when I had my first hearing.
Are you a little nerdy and people don't know this?
Oh, no, absolutely. A little.
A little.
No,
Look at this propaganda nonsense. So, if you guys didn't catch it, because I kept interrupting, Jen Psaki said, what is one thing that people don't or misunderstood about you? So AOC was like, people don't understand how smart I am. CJ, imagine someone, can you imagine the arrogance? What is one thing, Nick, that people don't know about you? One thing people don't know about me is that they don't really understand how fucking smart I am. People don't understand the grind I have, man. That's what AOC said here. And these people are they have so much narcissism, they don't even realize what they're doing to ordinary people. Because to me, that's an extremely narcissistic answer.
Nick, how can this be true that she does her homework and then speak to Ryan Grimm and say, you have to give me some leeway because I'm new at this, my bad. Like, like, how is both of these true? How are both of these true that people are surprised that you show up and know your homework and your firebrand? And I think, Nick, when the question, because I just realized this, we were looking at it as us, and we have to look at this interview as Jen Psaki is interviewing this person for the ruling class.
Yes.
So when she says firebrand, to us, no. But to Morning Joe's audience, yes. Especially considering the propaganda that they say from the right side. You know, they call her everything from Stalin to Karl Marx on Fox News. So if you're believing that, then yeah, she's a firebrand by saying Medicare for all. If you think that the peasants deserve that by even mentioning it, even though you're not going to fight for it, that's a firebrand. So if you look at it from that perspective, according to
them, AOC might as well be Claire Daly.
AOC
might as well be Xi Jinping, according to these fucking wine-sipping wine models. But this part is so gold to me. What do people don't understand about you? People don't know that I'm very smart and I'm humble. I'll play this part again. Like, imagine saying this shit in an interview, man. I'll play this part again.
I think
I want you guys to hear the question.
So you have developed this reputation. I don't know if you like this or not, as a firebrand.
Yeah.
What do people get wrong about you?
What do people
not know about you?
I think very often when I meet with colleagues or individuals that I had not met with before, they are surprised that I do my homework a lot.
What do people get wrong about you? People don't know how smart I am. People don't know about my grind, son. That's her answer. So ridiculous. Anyway, we almost done here. I'll let this interview is so ridiculous. I had my first
hearing. Are you a little nerdy and people don't know this?
Oh, no, absolutely a little. No, I think
look how comfortable
it's like when I had my first hearing with Michael Cohen, people were surprised that I tried to ask substantive questions. But I think that there is this idea that you somehow can't both be an effective communicator and discuss and
We're
challenge
talking
the
about how
bounds of
awful
our
she
political
is.
imagination on substantive grounds.
She's not talking about
And
we.
I think
She's not talking about movement.
I think we should do both.
This is how awesome I am.
So I know you're not going to talk about 10 to 15 years from now. I don't know what I'm doing 10 to 15 years from now. But in 5 years, are you going to be in Congress?
I mean, maybe, I think I've always tried to approach my service in a way of what really I think would be best for people. And if it would be best for me to continue my service,
I'm sorry, TJ. This is torture. We're almost done.
I will.
This is terrible.
If it's best for me to continue my service in a different form, then I hope to do that
like
as
in
well.
the Senate, for example.
Like in the Senate.
Come on, that's
Where
got
the
the
richest
PLC
members
lab.
are.
She got the PLC lab now down to
before
perfect.
I ever even thought about being in Congress, I've always been passionate about teaching and writing, and so maybe I would have been a teacher.
No, you never know. Life
You never
is long.
know. Exactly.
She's like, bro, you never know. You might still get that. You still might get that job at a elite academia as payoff for being a servant to the managerial class. Where do Hillary Clinton teach at right now? Hillary Clinton teaches somewhere. You guys know that's another way. That's another way they get. That's another payoff, by the way, guys. They get some person who's not qualified to be a college professor. They're like, oh, this guy was a foreign policy, he was Secretary of State. He's gonna teach you foreign policy bullshit. That's a payoff. That's corruption.
And you get these get these positions so that other places can invite you and say this person is from the school. It's all like to make it appear like it's worthy of what she's getting. It's ridiculous.
But in Jen Psaki, once again, this is how I read it. She's like, AOC, you never know, man. On the track you're going right now, you're gonna get rewarded. You never know. You might get that teacher job. What's your dream? That's what they tell you. They're like, what's your dream? I want to be a teacher one day. That's definitely possible. There's an opening at Columbia. All I gotta do is put in the world. All I gotta do is vote for this Ukraine war. It'd be a shame if you vote against the Ukraine war and all of a sudden these teaching opportunities go away. Imagine if you're someone like, man, I like basketball. Like, man, we got the job for you. When you lose, if you lose, you could be a coach at a D1 NCAA school. You can be an offensive coordinator. Bro, actually, they got all these damn tricks. Anyway, that's AOC state media interview with Jen Psaki. The walk around interview is extremely cringe. Just like when she
the walk around interview.
Just like when she essentially called for censorship of corporate media based on inciting violence. Oh, these people are inciting violence. Very vague, shit-libby way to justify censorship and authoritarianism. So I think that's right. Unless you have anything else on the AOC story, I think that wraps.
No, I'm ready. No, I'm ready to go to the next one whenever.
Yeah, we go Tucker.
You want Tucker? You want Tucker? Okay.
Yeah. Those are two main stories, so we can knock those out, and then we do some short stories if we have time.
Yeah. So here is Tucker. I'll just pull up the headline, and then if you want to go into it, or either one of us can start. I think we're both well versed on this particular story. So let me just pull up the headline, and we'll start. Here, so guys, so you see Associated Press. Go ahead, Nick.
This is giant. We've been doing propaganda report for a while. Tucker Carlson. The reason why they hate Tucker more than anything is that he destroyed the PMC class at their own game. He was the ratings titan. Like he had like more Democrats watching them, more people in the prime demo. He had like 3 million people watching them at one point. So this is a giant development, and it came out of nowhere. And there's a lot of talk, and liberals are leaning into this because they love talking about Dominion. Which, guys, I think the Dominion story is funny as shit. that story is hilarious. Fox News was talking all this kind of shit, and they got sued and lost so much money. That story is hilarious as hell. But apparently, this story is not connected.
Let me go to your tweet. I have your tweet where you mention it. As you go, continue, and I'll bring your tweet up.
I'm just riffing on the story. I have to go Tara. I want to read what she said real quick since we.
Who? Tara. Okay.
I think Tara posted something I didn't see before. She said, "I appreciated that when no mainstream journalists will fairly cover what happened to me when I worked for Joe Biden in 1993, Tucker did. He has been outspoken against the proxy war in the United States and NATO fighting Ukraine and major topics of the Biden administration, and takes us all to World War III. He called it out. he has a heroic voice above noise. I wouldn't go that far, but he does talk about other topics that others don't. That's a good picture of Tucker and Tara. Anyway, I just want to see what you said. This is giant news, but this is what I was saying. Dominion was sued because of election lies, but he wasn't the main one implicated. Like Jeanine Pirro and these other crazy Fox News people. That you guys know, I never cover these people because they're not worth it. Like to me, there's value in breaking down Jen Psaki propaganda. I have value breaking down Steve Hilton. He's a Fox host. He's my new favorite. That guy. Tucker had a few segments I broke down because he's like, but these Fox hosts are so garbage, not even worth my time. So garbage. And they just pretty much repeat all the right-wing nonsense. So they got Fox News screwed, but Tucker wasn't implicated. Tucker had some embarrassing texts. They came out like one of them that said he hated Donald Trump and all this shit, but he wasn't responsible for Donald Trump for the loss of Fox. So this is not related. So no one really knows why, because it came out of nowhere. Even among Tucker and his allies, they kind of shocked at this news as well. So the only thing we can do is theorize, right? That's all we can do. Because there's no official statements. There's nothing wrong with putting theories together when there's absence of information. It's fun, right? So the Dominion lawsuit happens, and Fox News finally finds the opportunity to get rid of Tucker Carlson. And people are saying, see, they're like, I can't believe they got rid of Tucker Carlson because he's their highest rated news guest. Why would they do that? Now, guys, I need you to understand something. Tucker Carlson is not advertised on. He lost a lot of advertisers for Fox News. So you being the highest rated news host means nothing when people are not advertising on your channel. So Fox, after losing all his money, after the fact that Tucker Carlson cost them a lot of advertisements, it's to me when I saw the movie, I was surprised, but it's not shocking. You know what I mean? Because Tucker was always this character that was risky. Because when you watch Fox News, and I have for the first time in a year, because I've been doing propaganda report, and people are misled because of Tucker Carlson, because they think that a lot of people on the right oppose the Ukraine war. They do not in the establishment Republican side. Like when you watch Fox News, like everyone's for the Ukraine war. All of them repeat nonstop, unhinged Russia propaganda. And it's super weird because you have Tucker Carlson speaks out against the Ukraine war, and then literally the next hour or two, you have Sean Hannity. He comes on and says the exact opposite shit.
Exact opposite, yeah.
Like he talks about how Biden is too weak on Russia. You have Fox News commentary that is consistently saying that Biden has been too weak on Putin, been too weak on China. Tucker is an outlier of outliers. And smart people like Glenn, like Arso, Jimmy, they point that out. Like for some reason, Tucker is allowed to tell the truth on Ukraine. And to me, I told you guys on my channel, I don't know why. I remember CJ. I said I do not know why he gets allowed. He get away with talking about this shit.
Because it's the people that he brings. Because people that he brings. Because this is called like an anchor store. For example, like you go to a shopping center and then you got Starbucks and then you got a bunch of other. Starbucks is the anchor. They're not paying rent because they're getting stuff for other people. So Tucker is not getting advertising, but he's bringing in so many people that some of them are peeling off and watching other shows. So they're still getting ad revenue. Yeah. It might be directly from Tucker, but he's bringing them in. And that could be, I mean, money talks over everything. And that's the only reason that explains it to me. But let me read your, because I do want to insert your tweet, or you can read it.
This is what kind of what I was discussing as well. You guys want to know what would be the lamest way this story ends? If Tucker Carlson comes out and like, yeah, man, I have no beef with Fox News. It's all good. We left on neutral terms. That shit's gonna be lame as fuck, and that shit's gonna be sad. But what I really want to happen, we don't got a lot of information on this. So this all I'm telling you at the end of the tweet, I literally say guess. This is speculation. He's the only guy talking about the Ukraine war. He brought on black socialists and criticized the State Department for pressing charges on them. Fox News are like, all right, if they just fired Tucker without any pretext, without anything like out of nowhere, boy, there would have been a big ass backlash among centralized Republicans, right? And there's still going to be. But after the Dominion law, so I already seen liberals falling for it. I already seen liberals say stuff like, Tucker Carlson gone because of the Dominion, They don't even acknowledge that Fox News and them already said it had nothing to do with it. Tucker Carlson was not implementing it. Dominion has nothing to do with it. But that's the pretext they want to put out there. That's why they did it, because it's controversies up there. They also have another lawsuit that's coming, and also getting rid of someone like Tucker Carlson may help with the upcoming lawsuit. But it's definitely, and this is once again, guys, we only got guess and theories that we can do. To me, my theory, this is a pretext because they wanted to get rid of this guy anyway. The rumors was that there was a lot of contention between Tucker and Fox for quite some time. This is also related to the adpocalypse that he had to deal with as well. But yeah, I think, and I'll read a tweet now. I know that was a long preface.
I mean, he's been getting a lot of push. They've been getting a lot of state government pushback because of the January 6th video and also his Ukraine coverage. And then the Black Socialists, he doing too much of that. Son. Yes. He
went after that. I was watching. I see some stuff he done. Like, no, I cannot believe he's getting away with this shit. Like, not in terms of like he being a threat to the establishment. Like, because I don't think he was. Like when he like it's just decorum. Like the stuff he would do, like going out there and trash. Like absolutely, like he laid into. I didn't cover it because it wasn't worth covering. But he like laid into Lindsey Graham one day. I was like, Jesus Christ. Stuff like this is why this happened. Once again, we see if I'm hilariously wrong. If Tucker comes out and like, man, we all good, dude. That's some cuck ass shit. Cause I know there's something else to this, and not because of Dominion. Meanwhile, I read a tweet. Tucker Carlson wasn't fired because of the Dominion lawsuit, because he wasn't implicated. Fox News found a way to get rid of him because of his stance on the Ukraine war, and also someone else brought this up in the replies of this tweet. And it's also 100% a good theory as well, because he defended the Black Socialists. That's also another thing that could have been. And let me show you guys this video, because I didn't see this until I was doing show prep. So this is something new apparently. This is April 21st. I did not see this. I was talking to Glenn, and he was telling me how Tucker invited him on, and we talked a little bit afterwards. Talking about how Tucker was like, "Dude, it's crazy what he's doing to these Black Socialists." And it's wild that Tucker of all people doing this. Tucker of all people. You guys heard my announcement, Tucker. I can't stand this motherfucker. Like, I find him personally annoying to watch. But how is he the one standing for Black Socialists being prosecuted for the free speech rights, but not Jamal Bowman, Ilhan Omar, and the Black DSA left? What? Listen to this video, CJ. I didn't see this till I was doing show prep earlier.
The week I started at Policy Review, the Soviet Union collapsed, which was an amazing thing. The coup against Gorbachev in the third week of August 1991 was the week I started at Heritage. And in retrospect, of course, you never appreciate the significance of things as they happen to you. You can't really know what the movie's about until it ends. But at the time, we didn't really appreciate how, well, two things. One, our entire political orientation was based on this war between the United States and the Soviet Union, this Cold War, but very much a war. And every part of our politics, as you well remember, those of you my age and older remember, every part of our politics revolved around that central conflict. That's the first lesson of history. You know, nothing is permanent except our own demise and God. But we didn't kind of get that. You know, if you told me then that this week the Department of Justice would have indicted a group of people I don't agree with, by the way, on a lot of different issues.
Listen,
Black nationalist socialists from Florida, okay, kind of not my demographic, but would have indicted them for criticizing the U.S. position, the Biden administration's position on the war in Ukraine, and charged them with felonies for which they're each facing 10 years in prison. If you told me that could happen here, I would have laughed at you. No, we have a First Amendment. That can't happen here, but it has, that and a lot of other things, which are gravely unsettling, actually, and people who were rooted in the Cold War story and the reality of the Cold War, again, my age, 53, kind of know where that goes.
So he's at the Heritage Foundation talking about the Black socialists who had their rights taken away. And not because Tucker Carlson is great, he's not. is that where's the PFC left talking about this?
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is what got him in trouble. And there's another receipt, I can find it here soon, where the Julian Assange family personally thanked Tucker Carlson for speaking out against Julian Assange. So I think we all intelligent people here, right? We all can use critical thinking skills. We're not saying Tucker Carlson is great, but there is definitely positions he takes that the capitalist Republican establishment is not comfortable with. And this is why we're surprised they even saying this shit on air. And this is one of the reasons, this is a theory why he possibly could be gone. Another one that is legit, I saw someone mention in the comment, I had this in my notes, is that Tucker possibly may run for political office. That's a big theory, extremely popular. And like he has, like, he one of the few people in the mainstream media that has his base. Like wherever you fucking go, they're gonna follow him. He's massive, he's giant, well read on foreign policy. So there's a lot of talks that he's gonna run for office. And CJ, think about how much that's gonna scare the shit out of the PMC class. Tucker Carlson, other than Donald Trump, has been enemy number one. And remember, what the hell we told you guys? They're gonna find another Trump. Tucker Carlson, if that rumor is true, is 100% going to take over the Republican Party. He is way more popular than any politicians on the right. He's up there easily with Trump. He's easily up there with Trump in terms of influence. So what we said, and I remember this is what I said in 2020, you had a bunch of progressive shit libs that was saying, Nick, you have to vote for Jim Crow Joe. I know he's ideologically opposed to us in every single way, but we must stop Trump. So then my question always, I tell like, all right, was that the Trump? I asked a few people that, okay, we defeat Trump, then 2024 comes. Is the next Republican gonna be not as bad as Trump? So that means we allow that guy to win? You guys see where the logic fails? Mm-hmm. So if you believe in vote blue no matter who, you're telling people to be Democrats for life. They will never say that. CJ, I know they will never say that. But what they will say is, we must vote for Hillary Clinton. We must vote for Joe Biden because of Donald Trump. Right? So I'm like, okay, so what if someone worse than Trump comes? That means, do we vote for the next neoliberal? Do we vote for Pete Buttigieg next? Is that what you guys Lord, no. Yeah, that's essentially what they're saying. So you guys, the buck had to stop somewhere. I fucked up because my buck stopped at Mitt Romney. I laugh at myself all the time. I make fun of myself all the time because Mitt Romney was the guy for me. After Obama in 2012, I was upset at Obama and Democrats, but I bit the bullet and voted for Barack Obama because I was scared of Mitt Romney. And after that, I'm like, all right, I'm done. So what they're saying is, if you don't vote Democrat because of the Republican boogeyman, you're going to keep doing it for life because once Trump is gone, Tucker Carlson going to be the next guy. You guys want to know what they're going to say in like 4 or 5 years? Come on, man. You guys really not going to vote for Pete Buttigieg? You don't want to vote for Pete Buttigieg? When you want Tucker Carlson to win? You guys see the never-ending trap of the lesser two evils? Get out now if you fell for it. But CJ, that's my rant. I'll pass to you for.
Yeah, I'll just read a couple of paragraphs from the article just to kind of fill in the story with a little bit. And you see the headline: Tucker Carlson, Fox News' most popular host, out at network, and this one is just dropped today. Fox News on Monday ousted primetime host Tucker Carlson, whose stew of grievances and political theories about Russia and the January 6th insurrection had grown to defy the network in recent years and influence GOP politics. Fox said that the network and Carlson had agreed to part ways, but it offered no explanation for the stunning move, saying that the last broadcast of Tucker Carlson Tonight aired last Friday. The break amid a cascade of bad legal news for Fox and Carlson. A week ago, Fox agreed to pay. You see how they're inserting this here?
That's what I'm talking about. And every story is doing that because it plants the seed into people who have. Well, remember, not everyone has a pay attention to politics like we do. Like, so they may see this like, oh, this connects to Dominion. They don't know the Dominion suit had nothing to do with Tucker Carlson. He wasn't.
This is a propaganda tactic. This is a propaganda tactic.
Yeah, it's sorry, CJ, but it put that there so you think that's connected. That's not.
Right.
It's completely not connected. So when my first reaction, I told you I will 100% admit these are nothing but theories right now, right? I'm not saying I got hard evidence on that, but when soon as I heard he was fired, and the fact that everyone's surprised, Fox 100% is using the Dominion lawsuit as cover because they want to get rid of this guy. And my guess is because the Ukraine war stand for Black socialists and stand for Assange. They said, dude, you know,
those are three.
That's my theory. So anyway, CJ, go ahead.
Those three are my two. Like if he had opposite stances on those three specifically,
yeah, those three strikes,
he would, and everything else is still the same. He would still be there, in my opinion. Let me read this last part here. I skipped over this Dominion bullshit, and thank your lucky stars you're watching this through RBN, who will tell you this is, now you can go back and read it. This is propaganda that they're inserting here to tie them together to this, and it has nothing to do with it. So you can go back and read it on your own. But Carlson, who worked at both CNN and MSNBC earlier in his career, ditched his bow tie look and quickly became Fox's most popular personality after replacing Bill O'Reilly in the network primetime lineup in 2017. His populist tone about elites out to get average Americans rang true with Fox News' predominantly conservative audience, even leading to talk about him becoming a political candidate himself, which you alluded to, Nick. And we can stop there. Go ahead.
I love the cope in that sentence. That rang true with Fox predominantly conservative audience. Dude, Tucker is being on the Pine demo. Tucker get more Democrats that watch him than y'all, because the reason people watch Tucker because Tucker has something unique to say, whether you agree with him or not. Like he takes like unique Tucker like stance. Like there's like the Tucker Carlson right, and people know that he's gonna have a unique voice. The same way that Rachel Maddow, like she had her own unique Russiagate thing that she did. And you guys are boring. You guys offer nothing, and they are trying to find a way to cope with that fact. That's why people tune in to watch Tucker Carlson, because they know they're at least not going to hear something, the same thing they heard from 6 p.m. Host, right? So, anything else they have on this, CJ? I think
we can end it there, and I think we can get to all of our stories. We don't got many left, and they're pretty short. So, did you have a new? Because let me just tell you what we got. DNC says no to primary. That's a very short story.
No, we do that one day.
We'll just show your tweet and then talk about it. And
I'm good for two more. I'm good for two more. CJ.
Yeah, and then if you want to squeeze in the Kshama Sawant on bad faith, or if you have something else, we can do Kshama tomorrow. Or
Kshama tomorrow, because I saw a little bit of that interview, and I feel like I want to take my time with that segment. So
you want to?
I don't think that should be a late segment. So let's say maybe for after the Jamu interview, because tomorrow we're gonna have a Jamu on for maybe the first hour. I'm gonna ask my time, but usually maybe 45 minutes to an hour. Then we're gonna do another part of the show. So I think we do a Jamu interview, and then we do bad faith, because I don't want to speed that.
We don't want to rush that because it is a lot. I watched the whole thing this morning, and or listened to. I got it. I'm a patron for on Bad Faith, so I get it a little bit early, and I listen to it. And there's a good 20 minutes we probably would want to cover. But do we have any other super chats that we can shout out right now?
I'll read some that I'll put some on screen, but I didn't read them. I always want to make sure I read them. So
we can do that right now if you want to.
Thank you for the $2, KDG. Tucker also agrees with Jimmy to free Assange. I'm gonna see if I can find that receipt. It's something I saw him passing, and maybe we really should make sure before I talk out my ass. But I think I saw something, and I will retract it if I'm wrong. I thought I saw something where it said Assange people. Actually, I'll be careful. But anyway, it is true that Tucker spoke out for joining Assange. And that's one
early.
thing,
now everybody, now they've allowed everybody to kind of come out and say it now. But he was one of the people putting people on the air once they were still towing the line of, this is not good and all that stuff. But go ahead.
Thank you for the 25 bucks. The Jen Psaki's carpet match, her curtains. Oh, you trying to get us in trouble. Stop trying to get us in trouble. Leaving funny super chats like that. This is a professional, deeply serious political show. It's a deeply serious show. How dare you? How dare you? Thanks for super chat, though. How dare you? Thanks for $5. Doanne Carlson is criticized for supporting white supremacists and shitlibs like AOC advocate war and fund real Nazis. You guys know what I said about Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson like the lead. Like there's so much of the right politics that's just white identity politics. And I have done so many breakdowns. And that's I kind of relying on you guys knowing of that. People who probably watch this video one time probably don't know that. But like Tucker does this thing where he talk about populist stuff, but he leans heavily into white identity politics and stuff that divides the workers. And he also, despite his populist rhetoric, his stance on protesting is extremely problematic.
Yeah, it's atrocious.
It's atrocious. He has one of the most bootlicking stances on, like, let's say we form a coalition to end the Ukraine war, Tucker. How do we get that done unless we willing to hit the streets and make the ruling class uncomfortable? Tucker Carlson, like, guys, protest, but make sure the ruling class is not uncomfortable. Fuck out. That's like, guys. I feel like you guys know where I stand on this. Maybe people watching for first day. Maybe I ripped this motherfucker so many times. So I think I can do these segments without doing caveats. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you guys know how I feel about Tucker Carlson, so I don't have to caveat the story. Like, there's so many issues he get wrong. I told you guys, I think he's deeply unimpressive. I feel like some people who praise him a lot don't watch a lot of his segments. Like, for every like one good segment you got Tucker Carlson, you get like 5 that's trash. I know. I watch him like, dude, be serious. Like, he talk like so many of his segments are not serious. But yeah, he does like his Ukraine segments are good. I feel like there should be nothing wrong with saying that. Period. His Ukraine statements are good. Literally everything else he put out there is trash. Everything I be watching like, But anyway, that's my opinion. I say that because more people watching than usual, but most people know that. I feel like I should have the caveat any story that we may say something nice about Tucker. Because you guys heard me say, like, you guys know my criticism. You guys know he's a duopoly simp. Like, he's still like pop up. I don't like anyone. I'm not cool with people from duopoly. That doesn't mean I can't praise you for one of your takes. But I think you guys understand that. I just want to reiterate.
Yeah.
Thanks for the $100, Landrew. Give love to Landrew in the chat. Much appreciation, my friend. Who would have thought Carlson left Biden? See, once again, no matter how you feel about Tucker Carlson, that is an objectively true statement. So if you vote for Joe Biden, you vote someone that is to the right of Tucker Carlson. You're not allowed to judge me. People anyway. People are so ridiculous. Because that's my tweet. Once again, not a lot of people, but you see every once in a while you see a liberal like, oh my God, you saying nice thing about Tucker? Then you vote for Joe Biden. You want to play this game? You want to play the game? Even if I accepted your premise, you want to play the game of who's more right wing? Let's play. I said something nice about Tucker Carlson. You vote for Jim Crow Joe. Guess what? I win. If you vote for Joe Biden, I will always win this game. Oh my God, Nick, you was on Jimmy Dore show. You vote for Joe Biden, I win. Nick, you minimize January 6th. Oh my God, you don't think January 6th is a big deal? You vote for Joe Biden, I win. Okay. Now the conversation always ends with filthy leftists. Anyway, I'm talking shit now. I got one more.
Yeah, I can do a couple of announcements, and then we can get into this last one.
Last one I'll pass to you. Last one I'll pass to you for announcements. Thank you for $20. Yep. Hey guys, I've been dealing with constant ostracizing from my family. Dennis, I'm so lucky my family ain't political. I don't have to deal with this mess that much. Who dismissed all my concerns as opinions, which has caused me to consider suicide. Man, I hope you do not fall through on that, man. Because it feels like my family doesn't respect me. Suggestions. Like that's. I'm gonna just tell you my experience because this is serious life stuff. And I don't know who you are personally, but I craft my own brotherhood. Like, you gotta see the person I tell you that my brother that live here is not my life brother. You know what I mean? Like, there are people that you form bonds with based on values. Like, people have been convinced that your family is only blood. No, the family people who you grow community with. So yeah, you have these family that you unnecessarily deal with, but build a community and talk to people and form bonds with people that share some of your values, but also trying to influence them and have conversation. Like, I have, like, this is a tough one because, like, I'm lucky. I tell you guys all the time, I'm lucky because my family apolitical, and most of my family apolitical because my instinct is born from them. You know what I mean? So I am anti-establishment because people in my family inherently distrust institutions. Yeah, but they vote Democrat because they're not like radical, but they don't. So when they hear me say fuck Obama, fuck Democrats, all that shit, they're not like they're like, oh, that makes sense. Yeah, fuck those niggas. That's the reaction I get from my family. So I talk to people who had like liberals, like black liberals, people who have arguments with Obama. The toughest conversation I had with Obama with my dad, who I couldn't get to hate him, but he was like, I don't. He didn't mind I hate Obama. He was like, yeah, what you're saying makes sense, but I think you're being too hard on him. That was kind of my dad was. Like, I never had people who like ostracized me for my opinion. That's why I wish I had better advice for you, because it's not something I'm personally used to. And if someone responds to my politics like, man, Nick, you're fucking crazy, fuck you, my response to you is fuck you too, bro. That's just me. So, but I don't think that's good advice. I don't know your personal situation, so I'm not gonna advise you to do that. So CJ,
here's a suicide hotline. That's one place you can reach out to right now. If you are having those feelings, you can call them right now, or if you rather text, you can just text the word home to 741-741. If you rather do some discussing through a text.
I have one uncle who apparently supported Bloomberg. Mm-hmm. I was like, what? My brother told me, because he was like, he heard that I was on the Bernie campaign, and he was talking to my uncle. And he was like, what's up with Nick being a Bernie guy? And my brother said he talked to him. He said, dude, like Bloomberg. Like, what?
A black person that like Bloomberg.
He's my uncle. I don't want to disclose who he is. He's an uncle of mine, but he also made mad money. He's an aerospace engineer. He worked on airplanes. One people in my family that actually do really well. He made like $250,000 or so per year. And I'm like, of course that motherfucker supports Bloomberg. one of the few people we have in our family that making that much money, he supports Bloomberg, of course. But for the most part, he's like the only guy, and I avoid him like a plague. I don't talk. He's one of the people I don't talk to my family a lot. I avoid that dude like a plague since then. Like, Jesus Christ, dude. Anyway, luckily, for most of my people in my family who do vote, they vote Democrat because they think they should. And that's why I always...
Like a tradition almost.
Yeah, I dispute the people who say black people like Democrats, because I remember having a conversation with my mom when I ate political a long time ago, when she was like, we vote Democrats. And I was like, why we vote Democrats? She's like, I don't know. I think they're good. Like, I think that's kind of what we always do. And my grandpa, but they don't like Democrats. So when they hear me... When they like, Nick, you don't like Democrats? I'm like, yeah, fuck Democrats. They war criminals. They fund police. Most of my niggas in my family, they're like, word? Damn, I didn't know that. That's fucking crazy. Fuck them. That's how my people respond. And this whole thing where you're like, what? When people are like, what? You say Democrat? I don't get that with my family. So I'm lucky in that sense. Anyway, CJ, I'll pass you.
Yeah, so we can these last couple of stories we can just tie together because they're both very short, and even if tying them together, they're still very, very short. So a quick couple of announcements. We're going to shout our cities out, Nick, right now. So if you are interested in joining KC, which is the city Nick is out of, or Long Beach, I'll put mine up in a second. Go ahead, Nick. If you're gonna
me up. I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start doing some brainstorm meetings and sessions, because I got some plans for the KC faction. So if you're in KC, hit me up. I'll probably start doing those around May. Maybe meeting up once a week. Or once every week or so, to start planning some community outreach programs. I want to do sometime in the summer. I want to have a picnic, food giveaway for the homeless. Maybe give some shoes away for kids who don't have tennis shoes. These are two events I'm planning. I'm trying to get the word out early. That's what I'm doing now. This is the first time officially announcing. These are two events I'm planning. So I'm gonna start maybe doing some community meetings, RBN, KC meetings. Sometime next month, so we start planning logistics for that kind of stuff. So that's a shout out for anyone in KC area or anyone in the range. Hit the email up. I'll respond to you if you're in the KC
just
area.
Put if you're reaching out for KC, just in the subject line put KC RBN. If you're reaching out for Long Beach, where I am at in California, put Long Beach in the subject line. And any other cities like Sabby for Boston, put Boston in the subject line. Orlando for JB, Port Orlando in the subject line, and last but not least, Detroit. That's where Rome is. Like, I love how we're so strategically placed around. Like, we got the East Coast cover, we got the South cover, we got Middle America cover, and we got the West Coast cover. So I do love that. So if you're interested in any of our chapters, there's our email address. You can email us. Make sure you put the city or chapter city in the subject line or title. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm glad that you let me know, Natalie. When I skip super chats, you guys know it's never on purpose, and because I don't, it's just because I don't see it. So I'm glad you let me know. So I found the super chat. Thank you, Natalie, for $5. Michael Miller says BlackRock owns both Dominion and Fox. They sue themselves. Oh, I didn't know that. I gotta look into that. Oh, that's crazy. They sued themselves and got a huge tax write-off. What? That's the first time I heard about that. What?
Me too. I gotta look into that some more.
Anyone else know anything? I did not. That's the first time I heard about that. Thank you for that super chat, Natalie. That's crazy. But anyway, CJ. Sorry.
Yeah. I can do a couple more announcements. Here is our website. Check us out if you want to hear more about our chapters, just a little bit more. It also breaks down some of the things we want to do at our chapter. Like Nick might be doing some MMA training at my chapter. I'll be doing some youth basketball training for the youth. My sister is going to be involved. I already talked to her. Watts Community Corps is going to be involved. The lady over there, she's going to be involved in our chapter. And our chapter is Long Beach is an active city for activism. So that's why I chose Long Beach to be the central city over Los Angeles, for example. So the other thing is we have a Substack. We have a lot of new people, literally a couple hundred, maybe 300 people that recently joined. We have a Substack where we send out notifications when we do live streams like this and when we do clips. So if you want to be on that notification list, join our Substack and we send those out. You get one for clips. It'll be one email and all of our clips for the day, and then one live stream email. So you know lives and clips. Go ahead, Nick. That's the last of the announcements. If you wanted to read that.
Also,
that's Didi. Oh, you were just throwing them up. Okay.
These are some fun. You know Didi, my friend.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So let me say this other thing. We also have memberships. So next to this video or on the main page or on YouTube, we have $3.99 is our YouTube memberships. And then last but not least, we're always raising money for our employees to pay them fair labor value. Right now, we have a GoFundMe finally for RBN. We also have a Cash App, I think that's scrolling down there, or Venmo, and then our Patreon. If you're able to contribute,
I saw your email, comrade. I'm gonna reach out to you. Left. I saw it. I'm gonna reach out to you.
We'll reach out to some. If you've recently, it takes us a few days to reply. We are working without a staff. We just got one person. So yeah, just keep that in mind. And that is it, Nick. I think I want to tie these two together. DNC is up to their shenanigans again. We kind of prefaced the story or talked about it earlier.
Yeah.
But just to kind of bring it up again, DNC, and let me go to the headline. I think either you have it or Professor. Here it goes. DNC will not be having debates, and let's let this graphic populate.
Well, are you telling me that we was right once again when they were saying that we should run as a Democrat? I thought if you run as a Democrat, CJ, you're going to be on the debate stage. I thought that what
apparently not. Apparently not.
And they told me it's a bad idea to run as a third party because if you run as a third party, they will just ignore you. So how are they ignoring us, CJ? Crystal, I watched the breaking point. They said that if we run it as a Democrat, they wouldn't ignore us. That's what they told us. Now, I don't understand why their viewers not more sad at them because this is what we tried to tell them. This is what we tried to tell them. We told them there's not going to be a debate. It's not going to happen. Go ahead.
And now they're all big. Now they're all big mad about them not having debates when we said this was literally what was going to happen.
And
but
CJ,
this is one of many headlines. Go ahead.
Yeah, CJ, I've been seeing them tweeting it out, and I know I'm probably just reading too much into it, but there's like a field. Them like, you motherfuckers, how dare you prove I'm white? God damn it! God damn it! No, like you can tell they're like, God, they mad because they know, like, yeah, this is what we was telling you guys. Now you gotta try and pretend that we did not warn you of this was gonna happen. But continue, CJ.
I don't get, and I think here, and I want to go to your tweet, and this is Blue Moon also tweeted this out, the same headline. When Dems debates would have been interesting, DNC says there will be no debates, and let's zero in on a snippet from one of the articles that talks about, and I think that's what you have here, Nick. Yeah, I think this is
I just grabbed one snippet.
Go ahead.
I grabbed one snippet I saw, but I'll just read the screen here. It said, well, this is disappointing news. The Washington Post reported Thursday the National Democratic Party has said it will support Biden's re-election, and it has no plans to sponsor primary debate. Now, for the people who actually thought that the Democratic Party was going to allow y'all to call the president, the incumbent president, out in front of millions of people, oh, you sweet summer children. You guys really think? And now go back up to the quote. Look at this. It's just getting started. They were just getting started. Look, it says the National Democratic Party said it will support Biden's re-election. What does that mean? You realize we just getting started, right? So one of the things that entails is not sponsoring primary debates. You guys see how the second part of the sentence is a result of the first? So the question is, what else do they have planned? Because they doing this because they support Biden. What else are they going to do? Hell, they might just hold the South Carolina debates, or primaries. Biden's going to win by 80 points, and then they're going to be like, all right, we're not doing no primaries no more.
Yeah.
I'm making this point because I want you guys to know this is just the beginning. If Marianne Williamson supporters, hell, RFK Jr. supporters, if you guys think this shit's going to turn around, you guys think the Democratic Party is going to let a backdoor, you think they're going to leave, you think they're going to leave a stone unturned on this? You think they're going to leave a back door open? Oh, shit, we didn't know you could do that. Oh, shit, you tricked us. Now you got more votes. No, they're going to, every gap you think you have of making this competitive, they're going to close it. Every single one.
You have no leverage. You have no leverage by saying I'm just another Democrat. It's the same party. That's all they're looking like. You ain't challenging us.
Yeah.
You're a part of us. You're part of us. So you're part of our party. So the true challenge would be going outside of the party. And I don't get why RFK doesn't do that. I get why Marianne Williamson is not doing it, because she's literally not a serious person. She's not a serious candidate. I don't take her seriously in the slightest whatsoever.
Like people keep asking me about RFK and Marianne, all these people. Thus far, the person I'm most likely to support is Afro Man at this point. And I'm being fucking serious. You guys know Afro Man is running. Afro Man is running as an independent. That makes him better than most people in this race automatically. So people keep asking me like, we support RFK Jr., we support this guy. Guys, I'm not voting in the primary. You guys see the problem with the strategy? You guys gonna run this primary, get your ass blown out because you're competing for who can get the most wine moms to vote for you, and then you're gonna sit out for the rest of the general. Guys, I have a question for you guys. For the people who think this strategy is better than running third party, who got more votes in 2016 election? Jill Stein or Bernie Sanders? Jill Stein, if you didn't know. Who got more votes? Bernie Sanders or Howie Hawkins? Howie Hawkins, if you didn't know. One option means you stay in the race, you stay building your movement, and you keep the pressure on the executive branch of our government that is ran by war criminals. When you run as a Democrat, you are bowing out. You are quitting 6 months before the election. That is what it means to run as a Democrat. We need to reframe this argument. I listened to the debate between Briahna and Kshama. We're going to break down this more tomorrow. People not even getting this conversation right. You guys don't even understand that the difference between running as a Democrat independent and an independent completely changes your movement building strategy. Mm-hmm. Yep. It completely changes the trajectory of your movement. If you run as a Democrat, your movement is going to consolidate behind the Democratic establishment, because I explained before, you sign a contract that says you have to endorse them, and then they go campaign for them. They share donor lists. I still get emails from Democrats to this day because I was part of the Bernie campaign. Versus when you have a third party campaign and a movement, Super Tuesday doesn't fucking matter. You're not going to end at Super Tuesday. You're not ending at March. You're not ending in April. You keep that movement, go to November and past that. It's a completely different thing. But anyway, CJ, I'll pass to you guys. I know you got some stuff to say or read out.
Yeah, no, this is Marianne Williamson. We're just kind of commenting for this last segment here. This is Marianne Williamson. So what we're gonna do now, Nick, is just kind of get reactions, whether liberal, conservative, of these, and we're gonna go to your tweet too. The DNC plans no primary debates. This is Marianne Williamson, as though there simply are no other candidates, no other ideas we should discuss about ways to win in 2024, or other ideas we should discuss about ways to repair the country. Like, I can't believe this is her response to them not having debates. Like, just look at this, milquetoast. This is it. This is the fire you have for them saying we're shutting you out. And
she
then
can't even call them corrupt. I know. Can't even use the term corrupt. Are you serious? I'm still here. I've got some stuff going on in the background.
Yeah, too many people are too smart to accept this.
She's still saying
what
Democrats.
Does that mean?
She's still complimenting Democrats. She's saying Democrats, you're too smart for this. What kind of response is that?
And look, we got RBN in here. RBN posting our stuff in here. Look at that. Making sure they know what's going on with this candidacy. And then we just not letting that shit
runs on Twitter.
Yeah. Not letting that shit go by. And let's look at a couple of other let me make this a little bit bigger. And I'm gonna get to yours in just a second, but let's look at a couple of other, and I want to move to some of her advocates, and this is one of them right here. And they have this like sign and share petition, get Marianne debate. Like all of these emotions, like these things, like what, like this is the problem I have. It's like it's not. They go like this, Nick, and Kshama was doing this to. I'm sorry, Bree was doing this to Kshama. Come on, what about supporting her? You don't have to do any of these things. Yeah, you are. You're gonna be drawn into doing all of these sort of activities to try to push for this person and joining in all of these emotions that you already know is coming. It's like dating somebody who everybody told you is cheating, and you can see the cheating coming. It doesn't make any sense that we're doing this when we know that this is going to happen, and we see it coming, and we just want to go through all of these sort of range of emotions.
And they want to go through the process.
Go ahead.
They want to go through the process again. Like, yeah, oh no, we didn't get the debates we wanted. Oh no, we lost South Carolina. Oh no, Marianne endorsed the Democrats. Like, no, we trying to stop it. We're trying to prevent you guys from going through this nonsense again. Instead of at us being step 3, we fucking mourn the failed campaign of Marianne Williamson. I want us to be on step 6 of our mutual aid program instead.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. That's a great analogy. Go ahead.
The PLC left and Ryan Graham always want to question people on their plans. What are your plans? How can you criticize what we doing? Do you got a plan? What is your plan? What I am saying is, I am working on theory that is based on progress. Theory that is based on progress. So if we run in the Democratic Party, and within the next 2 to 4 years, we are not going to get Medicare for all. If we support a third party, we are not going to get Medicare for all. But if we support third parties, we are at least progressing towards that goal. We are movement building towards that goal. When you go through the Democratic Party, the movement is dead. The Democratic Party is where movements go to die. What we are saying, what we were talking about is extremely hard. It's going to take a lot of discipline. It's going to take a lot of solidarity. And it's going to take a massive amount of effort to overcome the establishment. But doing that, at least we build a movement. At least we working towards a goal. When we do this thing toward the Democratic Party, they just let the movement die, the energy dissipate, and there's a ton of money that we just waste. RBN is advocating for progress, movement building progress, instead of our energy and movement being built on building PMC's careers. When you donate to Marianne Williamson, that's so Peter Dow can get a 6-figure salary. Like, that's how we need to think about this shit. Instead of building mutual aid. That's what that money goes. That money goes to pay the fucking wages of PMCs who benefit off of it. I'm telling us we shouldn't do it no more. When you donate to a campaign, you're paying for plane tickets that they need to fucking travel the PMCs around. Yep. You're buying for hotels that the PMCs are sleeping in. How about us not do that and instead do other movement building strategies? And I'm speaking as someone who knows. I flew on those tickets on the Bernie campaign. I slept in Airbnbs or whatever, in hotels, traveling on the Bernie campaign. And I'm like, damn, I wish I did that for mutual. I wish I did that for something else. So I'm not speaking holier than thou, because some people think I am. I'm speaking as a lesson learned. And as a movement, we should learn lessons. Making mistakes is not the end of the day. It's not the worst thing ever. We don't cancel people for making mistakes. But if you're not learning from your mistakes, that's when we're like, what? You gotta know.
Nick,
you're not learning? Right?
I'm gonna give you some analogies. When they use this, what is your plan thing? Do I need to have a plan for what I'm gonna eat in order to stop eating dirt? Yeah. Like if I'm eating dirt, do I gotta go, I'm gonna continue eating this dirt until I find something else edible? Or why can't I just stop eating this dirt and I can figure out what I'm gonna do later? This whole idea that I gotta have a good plan in order to replace a terrible plan is ridiculous. That's like saying I gotta have a good mate in order to replace some bad mate. No, just leave the bad mate. That's all you gotta do. Figure out the other shit later. So no, I don't have to have a plan to replace your terrible plan to know that your terrible plan is just terrible. That's ridiculous.
Exactly. And that point, I'm glad you reiterated that point, TJ, because PFCs use that against us and you guys all the time. That's the number one go-to. You guys saw the latest exchange between me and Ryan Grimm that I covered a few streams ago. That was the number one go-to. Let's say you're right, Nick, because you are. Then what? What the fuck? What does it matter? You admit I'm right and take the L.
That's what but here's another Marianne Williamson fan site. It says the DNC doesn't want to hold a primary debate because they know Marianne Williamson would destroy in bold letters Biden on the debate stage. We need to do everything in our power to make a primary debate happen for the Democratic Party, and they're just showing an empty stage because really this is them showing that. Yeah, no, I guess.
Dude, Marianne Williamson, why would you even think she had the personality to do this? Like, because we had criticisms of Bernie because Bernie was way too weak on Biden during his debates, and they kept saying that, well, yeah, Bernie is not his nature. And I remember I used to fall for that excuse. You know what I mean? Because back when I used to try to rationalize my position. Like, yeah, Bernie's weak on this because that's not his nature. They're not an excuse. I went far for that now, but I remember and they like, yeah, Bernie should go hard at Biden, but not his nature. What makes y'all think? What's in Marianne Williamson's nature that makes y'all think that she's gonna go scorched earth on Biden? Someone who she can't even call as corrupt. She's been extremely soft on Biden, but you guys think she's gonna destroy him? What? Like, she's gonna at best, if you gotta get your mythical debate, that's not gonna happen. She's gonna be conceding to him a lot. She's gonna be saying nice things to him. Like, she does not have the temperament you need at all.
Nick, she is trending. Nick, she is trending.
She's trending?
She's trending because of this bullshit. Yes, because I just tried to type her name in. If you look at the bottom, if you look at the top right, when I'm typing her name in, you'll see she's trending 800. I mean, it's low, but 829 tweets.
Cal's about to do a video. He's about to be super excited.
Oh, it's all about the debate
on Twitter.
Yeah, like this is the thing we said, Nick. Why are we going through these anger? We're mad. They're doing this. We told you. Don't do that because that's what's going to happen. Now you want people to go through these emotions with you. So she's, this is her opportunity. Them saying no debates is her opportunity to talk about, to kind of raise her profile, because that's her whole thing. Long as I get on the stage and debate her, you can't even debate Jordan Sheraton. You lost a friendly fire debate with Jordan Sheridan with your own teammate. What are you talking about?
Bro, the hottest she's gonna get at Joe Biden, she's gonna accuse Joe Biden of mansplaining. that's her go-to. Cause she couldn't have a conversation with a college dropout like me while questioning her opinion on the two-state solution. I was questioning her on the two-state solution. She said some bullshit. So unlike David Sirota, unlike the interview she used to doing, where she would say some bullshit, I followed up. Because someone asked her a tough question. She's like, oh, it's cool. I just bullshit for 3 minutes. They're not going to follow up. I was like, hey, Marianne, that shit you just said was some bullshit. And then she's like, oh my God, Nick, you're mansplaining That's the person that you guys think gonna overthrow the Democratic Party establishment. And they're Marianne Williamson supporters to this day that believe that we're being mean to her. Have you guys seen what the liberal media have been calling her? We've been addressing her substantive policy issues. The mainstream media have been dragging her, son. They've been like, unserious Orb lady, conspiracy theory, touting loon. Like, bro, they've been going hard on her. They've been way meaner to Marianne Williamson than we have. So if you can't handle us, if you can't handle the heat of the RBN in our community, how the fuck you think you're gonna overthrow the Democratic Party establishment? You can't pass our test? CJ intimidates you? You see Rome on screen and you run, but you think you're gonna fucking take on the Democratic establishment? Get the fuck out of here.
So I needed to give the backstory to this person. So obviously this is a Marianne stan. Look at this his backdrop, and let's go back to what the tweet is. I needed to do that before we read this tweet, and let's read it. It says Democratic primaries are not coronations. That's actually literally what they are.
Yep.
Like we know what it has been proven in
court.
courts.
This is the problem. See, CJ, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but this
go ahead. Go ahead.
Because I think you made the same problem. I want to let you to continue. But this is the problem. Not like we just have to do. You are misleading people. Like when you say something like this, Democratic parties and primaries are not coronations. And then you also believe you should run in Democratic Party. You guys see how you're actually doing Democratic Party apologia? You don't even realize it. You are giving people false hope that the Democratic Party is something that is not. So then you tweet, Democratic primaries are not coronations. Who are you trying to convince, them or you?
Yeah, you.
Them or your audience? Are you trying to convince your audience? Who are you talking to? Like, they are misleading people. Like, did not just let them do their own thing. They are misleading and bullshitting people. Anyway, sorry, CJ.
And then he goes on and says, we deserve to hear the candidates debate and address their plans for the issues facing our nation before we make our decision for the strongest candidate for 2020. Sign the petition. Sign the petition. Debates are democracy. Like, get the fuck out of here, man.
CJ, they got
out of here.
CJ, they got a petition. They fucking Jamie Harrison. He the DNC head, isn't he? Am I getting that right?
Yes.
No,
I think he still is. Or did they change it?
Yeah, Jamie Harrison is DNC head. Hakeem Jeffries is the House Speaker. Two of the most anti-progressive people you can possibly find. And that's why they are doing stuff like this. But trust me, they got a petition. Because Hakeem Jeffries is going to see her petition. He's going to be like, yeah, that's right. Marianne Williamson should be on the debate stage. Jamie Morrison, he's going to see her fucking petition. You guys see how they mislead people, bro? You got to sign a petition and they're going to go on the debate stage.
Such a scam. But look at this. Marianne Williamson actually calls out Robert Kennedy. Maybe Robert Kennedy says some positive words. So of course she has to jump into this whole culture thing to up her profile, and she says Tucker Carlson is no hero. RFK Jr.
Let's go, guys. I'm hyped about this. So for one, let's be clear. This is super unserious. But this is hype.
Yes.
Let's do it. RFK. I want to see RFK Kennedy Jr. debate Marianne Williamson. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, y'all two can debate. We can still do that. Maybe this is what she's referring to. Fox fires Tucker Carlson 5 days after he crosses the red line by acknowledging that the TV networks pushed a deadly and ineffective vaccine to please their pharma advertisers. Damn. Carlson's breathtaking courage April 19th monologue broke TV's two biggest rules. Tucker told the truth about how greedy farmers, advertisers control TV news content, and he lambasted obsessively. I know the word, but I always have a hard time saying it. Newscasters for promoting jabs that knew to be lethal and worthless. For many years, Tucker has had the nation's biggest audience, averaging 3.5 million, 10 times the size of CNN. Fox just demonstrated the terrifying power of big pharma. Now, we're in this part as he's saying Tucker is a hero.
Yes.
Where is he saying that?
CJ, I feel like we need to acknowledge how hilarious the story is. You breaking this to
Go
me?
ahead.
This story is glorious. This story. Can we acknowledge how hilarious and how amazing this is? Marianne Williamson just called. This is the segment, CJ. Aaron, if you're listening, RFK Jr. calls out Marianne Williamson. Marianne Williamson calls out RFK Jr. Why do you guys think she's doing this? It's almost like she saw RFK Jr. double her support.
You punch up. That's what you do. In her case, she would be punching up other, Nick, because that's what she's at. She's after other too. So just put other there.
There's so many layers to this. So she saw RFK Jr. double her support. She knows RFK Jr. will kill her campaign. Already has. So now she calls out RFK Jr. This is why this is glorious. We need y'all to debate because look at what RFK Jr. said. RFK Jr. praised Tucker for his coverage on COVID. So Marianne Williamson trying to make it about something not about like that. So he said Tucker Carlson is no hero. He didn't say that, you moron. He's talking about his COVID coverage. He praised him for that. So what would be amazing is if Marianne Williamson and RFK Jr. had a debate, and Marianne Williamson tried to debate RFK Jr. on COVID, and if Marianne Williamson tried to debate RFK Jr. on Ukraine, because
I was just about to say I want to hear war because he would absolutely destroy her.
Because he's talking about that, right? Go back to the tweet, make sure I didn't misread it. Because he praised Tucker Carlson for COVID, and Tucker Carlson also covers the Ukraine war, which he doesn't support. We want to talk about pharma here, but I want to see RFK Jr. and Marianne Williamson debate. Imagine when the issue of COVID comes up, because you know it is. That's what RFK Jr. is most known for, his COVID pushback. So Marianne Williamson's going to say, that's going to come up. So we're going to see Marianne Williamson versus RFK Jr. on COVID, and then the Ukraine war, that should come up. Dude, RFK Jr., I'm not supporting him because I told you guys I'm not voting in the primaries. I'm not doing to nobody, so what does support mean? You know what I mean? But RFK Jr. would dismantle Marianne Williamson in a debate. And I will say that unequivocally.
It would be unfair. Like it would be unfair. It would be unfair. It would be that bad. It would be unfair.
So you breaking this news to me, CJ, that's why I'm like reacting this way. This is hilarious. And I can't believe Marianne Williamson did this because this is going to start the Marianne Williamson versus RFK conversation, which is going to be hilarious to watch because RFK Jr. is going to blow her the fuck away.
Look at this comment. Look at this comment. Marianne
criticism, and people say why you haven't had fame for RFK Jr. like that, and I don't support him running as a Democrat. I'm not voting for him because I don't plan on voting for a Democratic primary. But at least he's challenging Biden on Ukraine. That's why I tweeted. Because I'm like, all right, I'm not supporting him, but at least you're running to be commander in chief. You calling out for his Ukraine coverage. You called him out based on how he handled a national emergency. You calling him out for COVID. That's the executive branch power. So unlike Marianne Williamson, calling him out on shit the executive branch controls, and he's been oppositional towards her. So we were calling out Marianne like, you running against Biden, but you agree with him on Ukraine? So my critique of RFK Jr. is based on strategy. My critique of Marianne Williamson is based on strategy and the fact that you're a shitlib that gets basic issues wrong. So RFK will fucking destroy her. I want it to happen. I'm going to instigate it. I want this to happen. Marianne Williamson, RFK Jr. Let's go.
Look at this point made by Joe Paradise. Marianne Williamson going after RFK Jr. harder than she'll ever go after Joe Biden. Mic drop, because that's on point. That is absolutely true.
Oh, dude, she just tweeted.
Never go this hard.
It's probably about to be a shitstorm over this. She just tweeted this out. Wow.
Wait, and now this is a Tim Cock is a Marianne Williamson stan. I don't know if he works for the campaign. So this is him.
So that's why he's trending.
He's pointing out that this is what she's calling out. So he's like pointing out that's what Marianne is.
So that explains why she's trending. Because Marianne Williamson doesn't trend on Twitter often. So she called out RFK, and that's why. Could that just happen?
That's what's trending. Yeah.
Wow.
She's trending because the people that like RFK is helping her trend. Because understand, he's the one. His tweet is the one that has all these views, 82,000. That's his has 82,000 likes, not even views. That's 82,000 likes. She has 630. Okay, stop it. Like, she's trending because people are probably going after her because she's trying to go after him. So that's why. Let's see what else though, Nick. I just want to make sure I don't miss anything breaking.
Man. I was trying to get that out there, man. I want to see this debate because the reason why I want to see this debate because I want to see a NATO leftist defend their position. Like, whenever y'all see a NATO left debate someone, they like it don't happen. They can't defend their position. I want to see Marianne Williamson debate RFK, and I want to see Ukraine come up. That's probably the only reason I'm super interested in this. I want to see them debate COVID too, because Marianne Williamson, she's a lazy shitlib. She's gonna repeat all the liberal approved COVID narrative nonsense, and RFK Jr. gonna fucking dismantle her. So I want to see those two things. So I want to try to instigate it. I want to instigate a debate. Hey, let's go. Hey, RBN community, let's go. Marianne Williamson for RFK Jr. If you're on Twitter, I already put my reply on a tweet. I say you should debate RFK Jr.
Look at this. Look at this. What? Where's Marianne?
She got 1%. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ! They don't even have RFK Jr. on there, right?
No, he is. He got 2% right here.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
I'm just saying, like, this is, we're not donating money to 1%. We're not, and that's an indication that most people understand that she's a joke. Most people understand. She's not included, I don't think, on this one. Yeah, I don't think she's included. But there's been several polls out. Go ahead.
And that's the thing. Like, if you donate to a movement building campaign that is on the ballot, because you gotta know Mali, the Black Uhuru Socialist Movement, they run candidates. I didn't know that too. Max Blumenthal was talking about. They run candidates that usually get 2-3%, and that's why the establishment hates them because they call Democrats all the time in the area. But at least if you're a third party, you're building a movement. You know what I mean? Like, you building a movement that is outside of the two-party duopoly, that based on what I want to see done, a third party that is based on mutual aid, community building. So even though you donate, just because you date laws don't mean you throwing your money away like we usually do with like the Bernie campaign. That money is going to go towards that movement, towards whatever community action the third party that we envisioning will be accomplishing. But if you donate to Marianne Williamson, RFK, or one of these campaigns that we know going to lose, where'd that go? What's the long-term effect of that money? You donate to Marianne Williamson, she endorses Joe Biden before the beginning of the summer. What happens to that money? These are the questions I didn't want people to ask. Go ahead, CJ.
Yeah, and let's look at this poll. They conducted, now it's not scientific, but they conducted because I guess they kept getting people saying, why aren't you including Marianne? Why aren't you including Marianne? So they said, okay, we'll go ahead and put a poll up and just include only the people that you mentioned. She comes in 4th place after other, Nick. And she
after other.
Yes, she only got this high because people started going, go vote. Like, all her people started going, go vote. That's the only reason why she's even this high, because it was lower in the beginning. Then they start going, go vote. Everybody go vote. And it got up to this. But she's in 4th place behind, of course, Joe Biden, RFK Jr., and other. Nick, go ahead.
And this is not the Democratic Party electorate.
Nope.
Like, Marianne Williamson is supposed to be better with this electorate because the electorate is younger, more online. When you got Democratic primary, usually older, so it's not looking good for Marianne. You got a ton of people trying to tell them to vote here, but she got less than others. So RFK Jr. killed her campaign, and that's why she attacked him. That story is so fascinating.
And RBN,
that's an acknowledgement. That's an acknowledgement that she's like, man, this motherfucker fuck our campaign all the way up. Hey, we need someone to watch the Twitter account. Soon as he said something, soon as he said any motherfucking thing, and then he said Tucker Carlson tweet. They say we're a go. We got him. We got him.
She's not going to attack him on COVID because she kind of is put in the same category as, like, liberals call her loony about vaccines, that they call her loony about science. So she's so I don't think it'll be that. But Nick, this is my final word on it. I just wanted to show you. Of course, the Twitter account had to be in this thread with the poll, putting out our videos. Look at this. This one got 15 views. 1,800 people watched this just in here, just in this context of putting it in here. And there's other ones. We put this one here showing that, and just a couple of other of our videos are in here. This one here showing Lucy standing up and saying, this is at Steve Donziger. This is what I covered yesterday, Nick. Steve Donziger was speaking at an Earth Day event at Marianne Williamson's Earth Day event and got protests. And Lucy was one of them. And she stood up and said, "You're wasting our time, man, with this Democratic bullshit." I'll play it for you. I don't know if you heard it. Did you hear it?
Yeah, I haven't seen this yet.
Let me just let you hear it. It's 25 seconds here. Listen to what she says at the end. She calls out the hipsters, the PMCs at the end.
Excuse me, Stephen. I'm sorry, but the Democratic Party is not democratic. They're never going to let Marianne run. Kennedy is running, and he's not even going to get past the DNC line. You're wasting our time, and you're wasting our money, and so are all these other f***ers in here. You don't know what the f*** you're talking about.
Lucy is basic fuck.
She said, "So are these fucking hipsters in here, and you don't know what the fuck you're talking about."
Big shout out to Lucy. She was just on Nick at Night a few weeks ago. Lucy is basic as hell, man.
You gotta play that next time she's on Nick at Night. You gotta play that for her as a way of going out. And I think that sums it up. This was a great stream. A lot of stories connected. This is just not good news for Marianne Williamson. And what's happening with Tucker Carlson, to kind of sum up and kind of tie all this together. This is all together. This is all with the multipolar world. This is all with the hegemony of the United States falling. This is what's happening to NATO, and all of these things are sort of connected. It's just a collapsing empire, and all of their sort of stormtroopers feeling that effect too. That's my last word, Nick.
Yeah, so I'm done for today. Tomorrow we got a big day for RBN. One of the most requested guests is finally gonna make his appearance at RBN. Jamu Baraka from Black Alliance for Peace. You guys know Tuesday we have RBN Roundtable, so I think we're gonna have him for the first hour, starting at 4 p.m. Eastern. We're gonna make sure we double confirm tonight. But Jamu will join us for the first hour. And then the second hour we're gonna break down the Kshama Briahna Gray interview. Then I'm sure JB may have a story as well. So we got lots of great content for you guys, as we always do. Make sure you guys subscribe, like, and all that stuff. So that's all I have. Also have some guests for Nick at Night, but I'll confirm those maybe tomorrow. So Nick at Night on Wednesdays at 8. That's pretty much a thing now. You guys been enjoying that, so we gotta keep that going. We upload every day for anyone who's new. So make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss one of our live streams. Make sure you check. Make sure you subscribe. Help us share. We also keep links to how you support us, so we can pay everyone their fair labor value here. So help us with that. So CJ, I'll pass to you, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. You can close the show, CJ. I'll see you guys.
Yeah, I'll play this closeout video, and we will end the show. I don't think we missed any super chats. But if we happen to miss any super chats, we do apologize. We never miss super chats intentionally. And I think let's go with a historical video to close us out today. And this is coming. Go to the Revolutionary Blackout Long Beach. It's Rev Black LBC on Twitter. If you are interested in being part of, or are you in that area and you're interested. So let's close out with, we did the Black Panther one last time. So let's do this Martin Luther King one here. Oops. Yeah, let's do the Martin Luther King one to close us out. So thank you for watching. Stay tuned for tomorrow. Black Alliance for Peace, Ajamu Baraka will be joining us.
I think America must see that riots do not develop out of thin air. Certain conditions continue to exist in our society, which must be condemned as vigorously as we condemn riots. In the final analysis, a riot is the language of the unheard. What is it that America has failed to hear? Failed to hear that the plight of the Negro poor has worsened over the last few years. It has failed to hear that the promises of freedom and justice have not been met. It has failed to hear that large segments A white society are more concerned about tranquility and the status quo than about justice, equality, and humanity. And so in a real sense, our nation's summers of riots are caused by our nation's winters of delay. And as long as America postpones justice, we stand in the position of having these recurrences of violence and riots over and over again. Social justice and progress are the absolute guarantors of riot prevention.